This episode of the Smoking Tire Podcast is brought to you by Omaha Steaks. Are you struggling to find the perfect gift for someone who has it all? Generally, people who, quote, have it all, don't have all the meats. You want to give them all the meats. I know, because I'm one of those people that, quote, has it all. But if someone sends me the meats, I am all about it. Get them the perfect gift. Avoid the malls, the lines, the crowds. When I got my Omaha steaks last week, they were delightful, nicely marbled. It showed up fresh in a container with some dry ice, ready to go in the freezer. And I made them for Hannah, and they were delightful. And they got a screaming deal. No joke, screaming deal. I've used this code 3 times already to send stuff to my family. Here's what they're doing: $49.99. Family gift pack when you go to omahasteaks.com and enter code TIRE in the search bar. That, my friends, is 75% off. And what is in that family gift pack? Oh, my God. Exclusive savings just to the listeners, right? Family gift pack, $49.99. Here's everything you'll get for less than $50. 2 filet mignons, 2 top sirloins, 2 boneless pork chops, 4 boneless chicken breasts, 4 kielbasa sausages, 4 burgers, 4 potatoes au gratin, 4 caramel apple tartlets, 1 seasoning packet, and 4 more kielbasa sausages for free. That's like 2, 4, 6, 10, 14, 16, 14, sorry, I can't do math, 18, 22, 26, oh my God, that's 31 items for $49. Woo! $49.99. That's a screaming deal. omahasteaks.com, code TIRE in the search bar. In the search bar, some people asked about this. Go to omahasteaks.com, and literally where you go to search for products, type TIRE in that search bar, and it takes you right to the product, 75% savings. It's the gift guaranteed to be a hit. omahasteaks.com, hit code TIRE in the search bar. Boom. Instant dope pricing on steaks for the holidays. How about Forza Motorsport? It's the official racing simulator of the Smoking Tire Podcast. There are over 700 Forza Vista cars, including the largest collection of Ferraris, Lamborghinis, and Porsches in any racing simulator game ever. There's over 30 special racing environments, including some of your favorite circuits like the Nürburgring, Spa, Road America, some of my favorites, Sonoma, Laguna Seca. Yeah, all the best tracks, all the best cars, and the best personalities. Because you know who's in that game? Me. They put me in the game. It was really fun. Did some voiceover, talked about some histories behind some cars, and if you get Forza Motorsport 7, you can hear me talking about those cars as myself in the game. It's sweet. I really like playing this game a lot. The sound is beautiful. The colors are beautiful. It's 4K. It's 60 frames per second. It's HDR. And you can get it at ForzaMotorsport.net or at Xbox.com/Forza if you play Xbox Live. We are TST Racing on Xbox Live. Come and find me. Forza Motorsport 7 is the official racing simulator of the Smoking Tire Podcast. And in terms of other cool accoutrement, Dylan Optics is the official eyewear of the Smoking Tire. I wear these glasses all the time, and after all the time I spend in the desert and the mountains, I think the only reason I can even still see is because of my Dylan Optics sunglasses. They have 2 polarizers, and the NIR lens technology reduces glare. It helps knock back all the UV harmful rays and the glare without darkening the image too much. It's really nice. It's like looking at HD life. And the matte finish lenses are available in many, many different colors. You can mix and match frames and lens colors. There's a lot of different frames available. If you go to thesmokingtire.com and click on the Dylan banner, that will get you a free t-shirt if you buy a pair of Dylan Optics sunglasses, courtesy of your friends at the Smoking Tire. And now, on with the show.
Am wide, the opening shot?
The wide. The wide.
That would suck.
Here we are. How do you think?
You're expecting the Matt Farah.
How do you think I feel when it's the opening shot and it's me?
That's what they want, at least.
All right. What's up, kids? Smoking Guitar Podcast. This is it. We're now here.
It's the first time I've done a video, which is
really?
going to,
Well, welcome to the video studio.
Disavow everybody of the notion that I'm a 5'2" blonde with really big boobs.
Right. Aaron Gold is in the building, and guess what? He's not a 5'2" blonde with really big boobs.
I tried.
And we've got Brian Makse in the building as well. It's like an automotive journalist trifecta here.
It's pretty sad.
You and I are apparently roughly interchangeable.
We are
on Instagram,
and we got to open with this for my son.
Yeah,
because he just finds this totally amusing. He's gonna die because we're in the same place at the same time.
And we look exactly the same.
Mm-hmm.
We could, if we face swapped, it would be the same. Brian's new to the program. Aaron has been here. What is this? Your like sixth, seventh time?
My third or fourth.
You've been here a bunch of times, but Brian comes to us from Canada, Toronto.
Yeah,
it's pronounced C-H-R-O-N-T-O.
It's
Toronto.
It's three syllables.
No T-O, it's Toronto.
Toronto. C-H-R-O-N-O.
You forgot the third syllable.
Where's that?
Toronto, eh?
It's pronounced like if you pronounce chrono incorrectly.
Yeah.
Toronto. Yeah,
Toronto.
that's how it is.
Yeah.
I see you're a watch fan with your lovely polished. Is that a Milgauss? Is that an Air King?
It's a Datejust.
It's a Datejust?
Yeah.
Wow, it's a Datejust that looks like both a Milgauss and an Air King simultaneously, and it's fire. It looks nice.
Thanks.
Very good.
Once again, theater of the mind. I can't pretend to have...
Here, take mine.
It'll never fit. What? Are we going to emphasize? No, it won't, because I have little girl wrists. Yeah,
that looks good on you.
Yeah, until it falls right off.
Oh, you guys...
How do you get used to that?
That's pretty.
How do I get used to it? Well, I have a fat wrist and it fits.
I have little girl wrists.
I have to put it on because I have a watch tan.
Fat everything else, but girl wrists. Not even that bad. I thought, never mind.
So what's happening, boys? You guys are in town for what? What brings you here, Brian?
What brought me here was to play with the DB11 V8.
Oh!
Down in...
How glorious.
Yeah, it was wonderful.
I think I actually got invited on that launch, but I was just in Vegas and couldn't make it. Please tell me about it. I'm actually very interested.
It's the strangest thing is opening the bonnet,
of
course, and seeing this tiny little V8.
Is it like an old 60s muscle car with an inline six where you could stand in the engine bay alongside the motor?
Almost. Yeah. You know what? It's like there's a vacuum inside the front of that car now.
But is it good to drive?
It is.
It is.
So
have you driven the 12?
I have.
Okay.
Yeah.
So,
have you?
Yes, I have. Did you like it?
Yeah.
You did?
I did.
Okay.
You didn't?
Yeah.
No.
Why not?
I thought I didn't like it for several reasons. Nothing about the engine, really. I thought the engine was all right.
Yeah.
It wasn't loud enough for me. It was very muffled with the turbos, but I thought the steering was a little light and kind of not connected, and I didn't like the digital dash, and I didn't really like how it looked. But how's the V8?
V8's great. So it's the thing with every time I mention this to anybody at Aston Martin, I'm like, the V12 makes more power than you say it does. Like, there's no question. Like, it's faster than a Vanquish.
Yeah, but it probably has a wider torque curve. I wouldn't be surprised if
does.
the peak power was the same as the Vanquish, but I bet it feels a lot faster.
It feels.
I bet it does feel faster.
It feels super fast.
Yeah.
The deal with the V8 is it's down 18 pounds-feet of torque from the V12.
18 whole pound-feet of torque.
So in terms of usability,
like a lot.
Yeah, exactly. So the V8's kind of there. I think what Aston Martin's doing with that is trying to broaden the appeal.
How much horsepower is it down?
Well, it depends how much the V12 actually produces, but it's like 100.
It's 100 if you believe Aston Martin.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Have you driven the Bentley 12 and 8s?
Yep.
I preferred the V8 Bentley to the 12 as well.
Yeah, me too.
Have you driven those?
I haven't driven a Bentley in 5 years.
Oh, really?
I have driven the DB11 V12. I think I got somebody else's invitation to that launch. So
Is that that's where they invite you 3 days before the launch?
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Hey, we have an
Yeah.
opening. Yeah. Hey guys, next week I'm going to Vegas to drive the Hyundai Accent.
Woo!
Awesome. I missed that invite.
Oh man. Well, hey, listen. Someday you'll be an A-lister. Just
I
follow
got
my lead.
I got a B-list invite to Crete to go to the Cayenne launch. It's happening right now.
Yes.
I got invited to that like 4 days ago.
Right.
It was fine. He actually, I give the dude who made the phone call, who was, I think his name is Luke. I give him full points because he called me and he was like, Farah, what's up? What's going on, man? there's no way to not be really awkward about this.
That's so Luke.
Someone,
Did he say that?
Yeah, he goes, look, there's nowhere to not be awkward about this, but someone dropped out of the Cayenne launch in Crete, and do you want to go? And I was like, B team, huh? And I really gave him a bunch of crap for it.
But you're going, right?
No, I'm not.
You're not going.
No, I'm not. And
4 days ahead of time. That's 5 billion frequent flyer miles.
Yeah, that's true.
Listen,
Your ticket will cost $18,000.
It's nice of them. It's nice to even be on the B team, but I ain't flying 40 hours round trip to drive a Cayenne. I'm
Crete?
sorry.
Yeah, exactly.
Crete.
You know Crete's on this planet, right?
Crete is one of the farthest places you can go from Los Angeles.
Yeah,
Is it-
I
I
mean,
mean,
it's far.
really
It's far. Yeah,
Yeah,
it takes a long time to get there.
I wouldn't be surprised if it takes 30 plus hours to actually get to Crete from here.
I know what you mean. You know there was a Chevrolet launch that was in Greenburg, South Carolina? Those bastards. I had to change planes twice.
Dude, you know, when you're a businessman, you got to do the math sometimes.
That's right. That's exactly it. You can't
See,
afford
that's
to
the
do
beauty.
that.
My time is worthless, so I'm good.
Do you want to go to Crete? I'll
would
pass
so
along
go to
Luke's
Crete.
phone number.
Hey, so Luke was my intern. His first
No
job
way,
in the
that's
business
hilarious.
was my intern in
That's
Toronto.
so
Not me
funny.
personally, but it was like all of us. We were doing fun car stuff at the
So
time.
are you B squad or A squad?
I'm C. I'm C.
You're not even on the
Canada.
squad yet.
Yep.
Luke
Yeah,
it's Van de Z.
Van de Veer, I think. Van de
Zandy.
Van de
Van de
Zee.
Z. Yeah, I can never pronounce it.
Awesome
Yeah.
last name.
Yeah.
I should
Oh,
really remember it.
he's wrote for Auto Guide, right?
Yes.
Okay, I just
Yeah,
smart
and then he
work
did the
for
smart thing and
And went to the other-
went to PR.
Yeah,
Other
and went to make
yeah.
money.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
They'll be back.
So
they all
wait.
come back.
Oh, he's not coming back. He's a smart guy.
So back to the Aston. Does it handle different? Is it anything about it different other than the fact that it's slower when you go flat?
That's about it.
That's about it, huh?
Yeah, it's got 2 louvers on the bonnet instead of 4 as the V12
It
does.
has 2 louvers on the bonnet. Wait, can we? Where are we, Tim? Can you pull up a
That's
picture?
a V8 for sure.
Can you pull up a picture
Yeah,
of the
'cause it says
DB11
AM V8.
V12 and type V12 into the bar? I don't even know. Okay, there's some
And that's a
louvers.
V12.
What's
Oh,
that?
I see. Fender and center of the hood.
Yeah.
Okay, wait. Where? Oh, so outer and inner. So that's the V12.
Yeah.
Which you can tell from the front license plate, people. And there's Audis and innies there.
Yeah.
And then the V8 is what? Only
Only
Audis.
the Audis.
only the Audis.
Sorry about the
Oh,
word
so
Audi.
there's going to be do you think people are going to start swapping hoods? You think people are going to go, can I get the V8 but with the V12
I'll
hood?
tell
You
you
know
what.
people are going to do that.
And then in Europe they go the other way, right?
That's right. They
There'll
want the
be like a
V8.
market. So like I'll swap you my 12 hood, for your so you in Europe can pretend like you've got the 8.
That's right.
With your rich guilt.
Yes.
And I can pretend like I have the 12, like my fake baller American status.
There's a business right there, swapping hoods across the Atlantic.
hood swap.
Yeah.
I tell you, I know you don't like the way the thing looks. I like it with the plain hood. I think it looks kind of.
You know what
I don't have a problem
the
with the way
front
the
end
car
looks like every other Aston Martin. What I don't like is the floating C pillar.
Right.
Tim, can you give us a rear 3/4 view of that? Not in black. Black. Oh, that's red. Find a white.
You
Find
don't-
like a whiter
you gotta look,
silver.
You got
if you
more
don't
of a
mind.
side angle.
The
I know what you
colorblind-
mean. I like it.
I'm talking about for the audience, because now that Aaron. Now the way this works in video, what we see, they see.
No,
So we're looking.
Where were you-
You're
where was your-
looking at now, sir?
Tim, where was
Everything
your
is-
web search when I was talking about 5'2" blondes?
Give us that white bottom left, Tim. That white from the side. That'll do.
That's the one.
Give us the white. So that big black piece there that makes it float. I'm not feeling that.
Oh, see, I don't have a problem.
like
with
it?
I don't mind
I
it.
like it.
I'm particular about that thing in colors. I don't like it in white. I wouldn't take it in black. But of course, there's some
Do you like
technology
the burnt
going on.
sienna?
there.
You probably like
I
the
like
burnt
that.
sienna,
I like
don't
that
you?
Arden green that I was
Burnt
driving this week.
Arden green?
Yeah.
Is
That green picture you were going to do, I think, shows it off. The one up there.
I
kinda-
think.
Whoa,
Yeah.
that's like a
That was
metallic
interesting
mint
color.
green. That is a pretty cool green.
That's a 1974 Dodge Coronet color. That's what that is. I thought more people would
That
find
was
the
the
fender vest.
63 Pontiac Tempest. Metallic mint green.
Wasn't that the car in My Cousin Vinny? Wasn't it the green
I was
Tempest?
doing a Tomei. That's what I was doing there.
Oh, I thought you were doing like a.
Didn't come through.
Yeah, I didn't get that. I just
Aaron,
got.
thick gold. No.
No, yeah, there you go. I just got gay mad.
Over. You know what? I see how you thought that.
See, so my thing is, I'm so tired of I like cars that look a little different. I mean, let's face it. The Astons have been kind of carbon copies for a while.
Well, they all follow the same. Did they regurgitate that on this launch?
No.
The formula thing?
No, they didn't actually.
I'm
So
surprised.
but I mean,
usually
the same guy's in charge of design, or he's now creative director.
Okay.
For Aston Martin. So that's Merrick Reichman. I'm sure you met.
Yes.
And what I will say, because I stole a couple of glances, I've seen the new Vantage.
I've seen the Nürburgring prototypes. It looks pretty cool.
The race cars look
Doesn't
awesome.
it look like the Bond car a bit? Isn't that sort of the deal?
It does. I'd say above the belt line is all DB10.
Yeah.
And below is unique.
Okay.
And it looks kind of badass. It does not
The
look
Vantage.
the new Vantage. It does not look like the DB11.
I'm glad it doesn't look like the DB11.
Do you think they dialed back, that they thought they went too far with the DB11 and had to cut back a little bit?
No, it's actually more extreme. It's
more like Lexus LC ish?
No,
maybe?
no. It's still it's still got those basic proportions, but the detail is completely different.
Oh, good.
Yeah, it does not look like the DB11.
Can you, Tim? Can you see if we can get a V8 Vantage prototype Nürburgring? The ones they've been showing are like green camo.
Yeah, GTE.
No, I don't think that's it. That looks like a DB11.
Yeah, it's a DB11, but it's actually the Vanquish underneath.
The green ones. Yeah,
Yes.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah,
Pull that up. That's the
that's the new Vantage.
It looks pretty sexy, although I got to admit that door panel has quite a bit of Ferrari California in it. Does it not?
Yeah, it does.
It does, right?
Yeah.
But I like what's happening with the back. It seems like
It's like
there's
they've shifted the weight.
like
to
a
the
little
back of the car.
Z4 kind of roof line, maybe.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
kind of cool.
Yeah.
I'm excited. I love the V8 Vantage.
Me too.
Anytime we see one on the street, like an 07, 08 Vantage S or something, that has got to be one of the best values in sports cars today.
Oh, yeah.
Because they tend to work properly, and they are cheap.
Yeah.
I mean, your 40 grand gets you a bunch of Aston Martin right now, which is good for somebody.
That's one. That's what I haven't driven the V12 Vantage. I've driven the V8 Vantage.
you never-
That was the first Aston I spent a lot of time
V8's
with.
nice.
I love the crap
yeah.
out of that car. The
You haven't-
basic
you haven't
cheap
done the 12 yet?
Aston. I haven't done the 12.
The V12 non-S is the jam. The S has the 7-speed, and that gets annoying, but the 6-speed V12 Vantage non-S is the jam.
the first one. Yeah, a
They're
pal
like
of mine had one.
110 grand right now. That's a lot of car for
it sure is.
It's a lot of
That's
car.
what they're thinking. Well, that could be that.
Oh, is that how
No,
you've
that
seen
doesn't.
it?
Yeah, that does not look
that
like
is
it at
not
all.
what that
No,
looks like.
never mind.
Not at all. Not at all.
Reasonably sexy. That looks like that picture is the nose of an Aston on the side profile of an F-Type.
Yeah, exactly.
So I don't get.
anyway.
Wait, so if there's no appreciable difference from between the V12 and the V8 from getting all that weight out of the front end, and you have more money than God,
Right.
Why would you buy the V8?
Well, like Matt was saying, I think in Europe and China, especially
economy,
in China,
taxes.
yeah, and all the emission stuff, you're gonna probably go V8.
It's a $300,000 car once you get done with the options. I was going to
Right.
say, is the gas bills really going to be a problem?
No, well, exactly.
I think. Well, there are countries where you pay 100% tax
right.
based on that kind of displacement.
Don't you
right?
remember Leona Helmsley? Only little people pay taxes.
Or our president. But the water, I'm sorry, just you can have some, but it's brand new. It's not cold yet. I apologize. Some of them are room temperature is about the best you're going to get.
It's called on Glecker's podcast. That's
and
all
honestly,
I'm saying.
the other answer is if you get to test drive them, and an Aston is not a Ferrari, they will let you test drive one if you appear to have the money that you can go to an Aston dealer and test drive one before you buy. Even if they were the same price regarding the Bentley, I prefer the V8. I liked how it drove better.
With the DB11, I think, it's been, I don't know, 12, 14 months or something since I drove the V12. So I don't have any immediate context. But I think I would go V12 and I would recommend V12. With the Bentley, though, I really did notice a difference because I got to drive them back to back.
Yeah.
And, the Bentley V8's got a little bit more of an attitude. And I would say
And
that
it's lighter on its feet. It handles better.
So it's 100 pounds difference or not much more than that between the V and the V12 Bentley.
It's 100 and change, I think, but it's the nose comes out of the front.
That's
the
right.
whole thing with that Audi motor is how short it is.
That's right.
And it really is a physically small engine, and so the steering is just much sharper and is lighter.
Yeah. And I've recommended it
And I'm not
to
a fan
viewers
of
and
how the
readers and stuff.
W12 sounds anyway. It's not. That's not a 12 that's like worth springing for.
No.
I'd buy the 12 in the Aston. You know why?
Because it's a V12
Because
Aston.
fuck all of you. That's why.
I believe.
I never thought, and I got to say, I'm only a fairly recent convert because I didn't get to drive one for the last couple of years. And I used to go, why the hell would anybody pay this for the car? And I remember actually I had this conversation with an Aston dealer. He goes, whatever it was, the current one. He says, the SL63 AMG is a nice car, but everybody's got one. and then
in Beverly Hills,
it's
they're
true.
right.
That's
and
true.
I got into that Aston, and I just sat in the thing. I just wrote this up, a non-byline piece for somebody else. It's like, you might not get it. You don't even have to drive it. You just sit in it and you go, yeah, this is another level.
Probably better if you don't drive.
It's it's not going to start anyway, so what does it matter? And the other thing, by the way, is if I want a V8, I'll drive my fucking pickup truck.
We did the DB11 V12 for the NBC Sports Show Thursday nights at 9. We did not treat it very kindly. I mean, I don't think we treated it unfairly, but I think that it was it didn't perform the way that we hoped it did. It had there's some weird stuff.
Car.
That the point of the bit that we did with it was to find the best Grand Touring car, and it was not it.
Okay. What did you put up against it?
The LC 500
Oh, that's interesting.
and the oddball, the Audi TT RS.
Oh, that's very odd.
I personally, I think the LC 500 is the best GT you can buy right now. That car rocks. I saw you in Hawaii. Were you in Hawaii?
No, I wasn't. I've driven it.
It's sick though.
That was me you saw in Hawaii.
I saw you in Hawaii, didn't I?
And I just drove it again at a name drop at a knack toy event.
What's
that?
What is a knack toy event?
It's the Jody is on the jury. It's the North American Car and Truck and Utility of the Year.
And
we have to
that
change
sounds
the
like the
acronym
North
to like-
American
I gotta
Child
ask
Toucher
who's
of the Year.
Jody?
Jody Lai with Auto
Oh,
Guide.
yes.
You're Jody.
Yes.
I love
We can pull up
the
that
LC.
picture, Tim.
I
That's
think
a
that
good
is just
picture.
such a magnificent car.
Yeah.
I actually thought of it, and to me, it's kind of like, that's like a mass-produced Aston Martin, even though mass-produced means you totally miss the point of an Aston Martin, but it's like an Aston Martin
Well,
without
that's
the
one of the
issues,
things that bugs me about the DB11 is with those digital gauges. One of my favorite things about Astons has always been the gauges, especially.
That's right.
And to have a full digital cluster seems like a real cheapening.
To me that's a step back. I mean,
It really is a step back.
I like the crystal key. I like the
Yeah.
the occasion, and I like the reverse tack.
Yeah.
I think that's awesome.
I think they did such a
And-
good job with their gauges, and the digital gauge in an Aston doesn't work. Somehow, like Range Rovers and S-Classes, like they can get away with it.
Yeah.
But in an Aston, I was super disappointed with that, and I don't think the touch panel thing works. I mean, it's not like I don't think that touch panel works is the wrong word. It functions fine, or it functioned fine. I don't. It's not that
right for the
pretty.
car.
It's not right for the car.
Yes.
But when you're buying in your electronics, I mean, how much choice do you have? That's what Mercedes has. That's what Mercedes has.
That's true.
Unless you ask to pull something out of like the 95 E-Class,
Well,
which maybe they should do.
pimp, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it would be.
If it had 500 E parts on it, I feel really. I think the Hellcat probably has 500 E parts on it.
Oh, it sure does.
Probably some.
Yeah, it actually does. It really does. I just think that LC is just
It's gorgeous.
It's really nice.
It
Yeah.
hits all the. It does
sounds
everything a
good,
car
too.
at that price
Yeah.
needs to do. Looks fantastic, sounds fantastic. I geek out. I think we've had this discussion. I geeked out over the hybrid powertrain. The idea
Actually, the hybrid. If you drove the hybrid,
No, I've got it booked
was
in a couple
pretty
of weeks.
nice. Actually,
simulated 10-speed.
Hmm.
First of all, they stuck a 4-speed gearbox at the output of the drive system, of the hybrid drive system, which makes my inner geek just get a raging boner.
it's a really complicated system. That's
Okay.
yeah,
and
it's
they
a
explain
fake 10-speed.
but it's a fake 10-speed, but you really can't tell the mechanical shifts from the electronic shifts.
That is
because the thing's
true.
it's got a power split, so it's
Yeah.
it's not really a CVT, but it acts like a CVT. So it's got a power split doing some of the shifts, and then it's got this 4-speed doing the other shifts, and they simulate 10 gears. And I just asked the guy, "Is it too early to change tactic, or is this too geeky?" Or you'll stop
No,
me.
fucking please,
the hell,
go
I'm
ahead.
gonna take over your
Go
podcast
ahead.
anyway. I asked the guy, one of the guys at Lexus, I'm like, how do you do that? How do you get those simulated shifts? And they had said that when they drove the early prototypes, you could totally tell a fake
was
shift
which?
from a real shift.
Sure.
And a lot of work. And apparently, so they've got one of the motor generators. they basically, as I understand it, they slam the thing into regen mode. And right away, so, it's a motor, but if it's generating, it's got resistance.
Yeah.
So they just yank hard on the power out of it, essentially, turn it into a generator, and it slows the powertrain right down.
Oh, cool.
Which I didn't think about, but if you figure, they can pretty much bring a car to a stop with regenerative braking.
Well, I do that with my sister has a new Volt, and it's got the regen paddle.
Yeah.
So rather
you
than
could-
use the brakes, I just tug the regen paddle to slow down, and you can bring the car all the way to a stop like that.
Which is nuts. And they can basically make the powertrain go, and if it doesn't, you have to. It'd be interesting to hear what you think when you drive it.
Yeah,
Actually,
I,
what I really-
I love the V8, so I'm interested.
V8 is
to try.
great. What was shocking about the hybrid
Yeah.
was that if you put it in Sport Plus or whatever the top mode is, it actually they channel a bit of Lotus Evora into that V6, and
Cool.
it sounds good.
Yeah.
That's the thing is like it's a hybrid, it's quiet, it's mellow, whatever. When you go into the full sport mode and you get on it, it does its fake shifts and it sounds like a sports car. Which
It
is
sounds
cool.
like a video
Nice.
game because it
Yeah,
hangs
yeah.
a bit. Because it kind of goes. Yeah. The embarrassing thing was when we went to that event in Hawaii. They had all the cars lined up, and they had a mix of V8s and hybrids.
Right.
And it happened that the first car I got was a hybrid. So everybody's being like a wise ass, and they're all going. So I've got my hybrid. So I rev it a couple times, and it just goes.
Yeah, you can't rev it. Unless you
It
rev
won't
it's a
rev.
hybrid,
You
yeah.
can floor
Right.
it, and it only goes to about 2,000 RPM.
Right.
You couldn't do that with the NSX either. That bummed me out. That you
That's
couldn't
right.
rev it in
Yeah,
Yeah, I just
neutral.
drove that
Did you
3
love
weeks
it?
ago. You know what I did?
I loved it.
It is so good.
So
Like
fast.
I have
crazy.
Hondas. Like I'm a Honda fan, and it's been like they haven't built anything like that in such a long time. That thing just blew me away.
It has the stickiest front end of any mid-engine car I've ever driven.
It's just
ridiculous.
It's so like the integration of everything, the power unit, the electric drive unit at the front is so good. I'm just like I can't say enough good things about that thing.
Yeah.
Except it didn't like get me all excited. Like I
Oh, it didn't?
I don't get a hard on for that thing, unlike McLarens or
Yeah.
their stupid things.
Yeah, I kind of did actually.
But what about the Hyundai Accent? I'm sorry, go on.
No,
I'm still waiting
We talked about it
to
all.
get-
I don't need
to
to
get the
dwell on the
invite.
NSX, but I've talked about it so many times on the show. But I love it. It's so
Yeah,
much.
it's so good.
Can we talk about Steve Ewing?
Who's that?
He's
the journalist?
Yeah, the journalist.
Yeah.
So
Why-
he
what'd
posted
do?
something to Facebook that really cracked me up. He just moved to LA. He posted a Facebook picture of an NSX in his driveway, and the caption was, "So today I met all my neighbors."
That's so
funny.
true.
When I moved into the house in Playa, the old house, we had a Phantom press car at the time, and it was so crazy between like all of my cars and then this Phantom. The neighbors we were getting weird eye for like a week. It was
Yeah.
so funny. What else is going on in the world? 911T. You see that?
911T
911 tee up your money because we're charging you more for some stupid shit.
for less stuff. Yeah.
Have
Yeah.
you driven the base Carrera press car before?
I
There's a
haven't
red
been
one floating around.
Any
No.
four-cylinder
So,
Porsche.
no, not a 4-cylinder. 911T. There it is. 911T.
Yeah.
So basically, it's like $10,000 more than the regular Carrera, and for that you get lightweight glass, fabric door pulls. I think it's like 30 pounds lighter.
More for
Yeah,
less.
it's not much.
It's an extraordinary cash
Yeah,
grab.
30 might be a stretch. I think it's just that it's.
Is it less than
Yeah, I
30?
think it's less than 30.
Like you could go to the gym for a month, and you could save more
That's
weight
exactly it.
than you
I
could.
just put that. I don't know if they're going to let it through. It's a fairly straight-laced publication, but I said something like, I think it was an Evora 400 review, and I said, you can pay X amount for like all the carbon fiber stuff, but it's probably cheaper to just join Weight Watchers and
Yeah.
lose the 11 pounds
Probably.
yourself.
Oh, for real.
So the reason I think the 911T is a waste is because there was a press car floating around LA that was this base Carrera. It was red, and it was 96 grand, and it had a manual,
Yep.
and it had sport exhaust and sport seats, and nothing else.
That's great.
And it
was
was
perfect,
brilliant.
right?
Yeah.
It was so fun, and it was so nice to drive. And if you took 30 pounds out of it, I promise you I couldn't tell the fucking difference.
Right. You can't. At 30 pounds, forget
I put a
it.
30-pound suitcase in the trunk of it. Did I notice? No. Not a lick. And so I just did we need this? I don't know. Did we need this?
Porsche needs it, but I
Do
don't
they?
think
The most
it's another excuse to sell another
We
911
counted
with great
this
margins.
morning. There were 29 variants of the 911
Yeah.
right now.
Yeah.
And they
Yeah.
still sell what everyone they can
all
build,
of them.
right?
I know.
I think when the 4-liter GT3 hit, I drove a couple of them and loved that car. That is probably my favorite modern.
The new GT3?
No, the 997.
Oh, the RS40.
Yes.
Yeah.
When that hit, I'm like, how many special, how many unique 911 models? And it was like, it was near
more.
30.
Yeah.
Now there's more.
Yeah, a lot more. We were talking about it I was on Spike's podcast this morning, Spike Ferguson, and he was basically all about Porsches because it always is on Spike's show. And Zuckerman mentioned that there needs to be, like, everyone needs to feel like they have something special. Like Porsche, it's like Rolex. They make the most mass-produced special things that exist.
Yeah, and Porsches. I mean, especially with the 911 line, there's one for everybody.
Everyone.
And then how do you nuance those between those models? Do you want a GTS or do you want and it's where we're from? Do you want all-wheel drive? You want rear-wheel drive?
Yeah.
Which and I don't understand why Carrera 4s or 4Ss or any of those all-wheel drive 911 sell here. I have no idea.
I don't either. I think because dumb people think they're going to get more traction.
Well, all-wheel drive used to be the shit.
When?
You're old enough to remember, like in the late 80s, early 90s, something in all-wheel drive. That was friggin' awesime.
I always thought it was kind of dumb. 911.
30 years ago now.
Yeah, well, time flies when you're my age.
I've driven a rear drive 911 on loose surface with the right tires, and it's the best.
Yeah,
it is the best. Yeah. I wouldn't get the all-wheel drive.
Well,
unless it was a turbo.
Mm-hmm. I want an old one with old bias ply tires, so you can actually play with it a little bit and not have to drive at speeds where you're going to kill yourself.
I like the I'd rather drive slower argument and play like you're playing with it.
Well, I'm shitting myself is what I'm doing. But afterwards, I can get out with a Porsche Swagger and go,
That's what you meant. Yeah, I just did that on bias ply tires.
Got a little oversteer on bias plies, right?
Yeah. There I was, sawing wildly at the wheel, not lifting. Oh.
And then I gave it a dab of Oppo.
I love the far overreaching automotive journalist hyperbole.
Oh, that's for sure.
But I saw you rolled up in the ZL1 1LE, which is a favorite.
It is hardcore. It is like triple X porn. That thing.
Isn't that perfect for your commuting in Los Angeles while you're here?
You know what? It is so much fun on the freeway. Honestly, I fly out of the seat on expansion joints, little bumps.
You do.
You cannot take a speed bump with anything more than walking pace.
True, and you also probably can't go straight over it, can you? Can you hit?
I can hit speed bump straight, but driveways
you have to go.
I'm like holding
real
up traffic.
Big angle. Yeah.
LA
is not. Here we don't have like sewers.
Yeah.
So they cut the gutter into the road and the driveway, and God forbid you have a splitter. That's the end of that.
Yeah. So I haven't scratched it.
Congratulations.
Knock on wood. Thank you. Working on that. Working pretty hard on that. I've been driving it since Saturday.
Have you been up in the canyons with it yet?
I've been in Orange County.
Oh, well, you must go north.
You know where to go, right?
I do. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
We'll give you we'll draw you a route.
Okay. Perfect.
There's a route I could think of offhand that would be perfect for that vehicle.
Yeah. That thing is just mental.
Have you driven the regular ZL1?
No.
I haven't either.
Just
I've only
SS.
driven that one.
This thing is and actually I got up super early this morning because whatever, and it was 56 degrees out and there was some moisture on the road. I'm sideways in that thing. Yep, just like sideways, like legit, not journalist sideways.
Those tires are really, really good when they're warm and the track is dry. And I showed up to VIR to test that thing.
Yeah.
It was pissing rain. There was standing water all over the place.
No.
And it was about as scary as you can imagine.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, there's good. Who's that?
That's Nürburgring.
Is that Nürburgring Air?
Yeah.
And the car was scary as can be, and then it dried out, and it was brilliant.
Yeah.
It was in the dry, the car was ridiculously good.
I was filming last weekend, and just because I'm here by myself, so I threw the camera down roadside, and I'm hustling because I know these roads. There's no traffic, don't have to worry. I'm hustling this thing, and it's got like almost no body roll.
Yeah, it's very, very flat.
Yeah.
The no body roll also means no
compliance.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah, it's got limited wheel travel.
You will not comply.
Yes.
Although I always think every
There's no
time we say
compliance.
that as journalists, I think back when you read car reviews of like the 50s and they say no body roll.
Yeah,
Yeah, those cars go.
Yeah.
Well, at a certain point, you do reach 0 degrees of body roll.
That's
We're
right.
never going to get there. And in 40 years, somebody's going to be saying, yeah, I was listening to this podcast from 40 years ago. You know, Farrah and Brian said there was no body roll in a ZL1. You know?
That's very funny.
I have one of these. I have an old Dodge, which is one of those 0 body roll cars.
Well, you know
Let me tell you, there's body roll.
You know
Right.
the 4GT, when you put it in like track mode, the new one, and it like
Yes.
lowers down. It lowers down onto basically a bump stop.
No, it's
Like it's something on top of a torsion beam, or is it torsion beam on top of a
you know what?
spring? Or a spring
I got to spend more time, but it's built in Canada.
It's built in Canada.
Built 25
Here's
miles
your
from my
story.
house, and
Yes.
I've been there. It's in a horrible part of the suburbs, but the facility is amazing, and I've been walked through how the suspension works. Damned if I can remember right now, but at some point I'll actually present on it.
At the high mode, the street mode, it's a suspension on a suspension, and then it's like 2 different systems there. And then when you lower it, it completely collapses one of the suspensions and uses the other one.
I know it doubles the spring rate in track
Yeah.
mode, and then the car lowers 50 millimeters.
Yeah, it's 2 inches. It
Yeah,
lowers, yeah.
yeah.
But it
Yeah.
basically compresses the entire street use suspension to not do anything.
50 millimeters. It's like
2 inches.
Yeah, it's like
that,
2
right?
inches, give or take. Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
man
But
inches.
That's right.
It's like this
Yeah.
far.
2
Yeah.
inches.
Yeah, it's just down 2 freaking inches.
But that has no body roll. But the ZL1 has very little body roll as well.
Very little body roll, and of course more multimatic goodness with the
Multimatics really got their dirty little
spool
fingers
valve
in all
dampers.
kinds of pies, don't they?
They sure do.
I haven't been in either of the ZL ones. I've driven the ZR2, the truck that using
Yeah.
that same.
Oh yeah,
spool
they
valve
have a
thing.
multimatic spool valve, right?
Yep, they do.
Nuts.
They use it as a bypass shock, right? Isn't that the point?
I haven't seen it yet. I've got it booked in a couple of weeks. So.
Oh, here, Tim, did you find it? Is that just a picture
That's
of
the
it?
shock.
That's
yeah.
it.
What does it say? DSSV?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dynamic suspension.
I had to
spool
figure out
valve.
how it worked to write about it. Now I can't remember. But yes, and then it's also got something special so that when it leaves the ground, it doesn't.
It does like the
Bottom out
drop,
too
the
hard,
drop
yeah.
mode, right?
We did the press event for that. They had us on a trophy truck track. Say that 20
Didn't
times
the
fast.
Trophy truck
Z20 did
track.
the Z28 have that too? They had it had a fly through the air mode, right?
On the Z28.
Or is that the ZL1 1LE? I think Chevy had it. They were testing on the Nürburgring,
Right.
and it was like a jump function when it would detect when the car was flying through the air and prepare to land.
Maybe the
It was
the previous
either the
ZL1.
Z28 or
I think
the new ZL1 1LE.
The Z28, the previous gen Z28 was also on these spool valve dampers.
Oh wait, here we go. We have a little.
Well, and I know with the it's the whole deal is it's not so much with prepping for landing. It's just that at least for the truck, so it doesn't hit hard when the suspension drops to full extension.
Okay, so yeah, it's like a 2-stage thing, right? Where isn't that 2 shocks on top of each other? There's like an outer one and then an inner one.
But it's beyond that. Shoot, I wish
Tim,
I'd
you know
studied
how
up on
fucking
this.
off-roading works. Do you have any insight here?
This is Formula One right here.
No, it has been used Formula. Their big thing in the spool valve is it has to do with the rate at which it controls the oil coming through and being able to shape
because they're
that.
able to
Yeah.
predict it with the spool valves. They can predict compression and rebound curves.
Okay.
But predictably, there's no shock dynos when you use those. Like as far as a race damper goes, they can, if race teams are using these spool valve dampers, they can predict compression and rebound curves, and you don't have to test a shock that you've built with shims, that kind of thing. The spool valve dampers are used all over Formula One. Ferrari uses them, but they would never say so.
Truck-wise, the bottom line is it's the most awesome thing off-road thing ever, and it rides better than the Z71 or the normal.
Does it ride
off-road
better
truck
than
is.
like a Raptor?
I haven't
The
driven
new
a
Raptor is actually really good.
much.
I like the new Raptor
Yeah.
very much. I was only in it
enjoy it.
briefly in Iceland when we filmed our NBC Sports bit over there, but
What day and time is that show on?
Thursday nights at 9 and 9:30. There you go. You know how to do it. You need a job? No.
Yeah, we all need a job.
I know. So will I soon. Don't worry. Chris Harris and Mike Spinelli drove a Raptor across Iceland. I drove a McLaren around Iceland.
Nice work.
It was lovely.
I bet you that was awesome.
Only McLaren to ever go to Iceland. Was
Really?
that one. Yeah, yeah.
Which model?
570 GT.
Nice. That's perfect. Glass roof.
Glass roof, Bowers and Wilkins. Oh, it was good.
Beautiful.
And the one they sent me, they knew what could happen to it in Iceland, and they sent me one that was already a little, you know, it was like a 20 at 20 car.
Yep.
You know, 20 feet at 20 miles an hour kind of thing. Fine for TV. Just a little rough around the edges. It had seen some things. And because it had seen some things, you know, you're a little more free around it. You're not walking on eggshells.
Yes.
So I was free
Good
to have
for
a little
you.
He's
more.
parking it in compact spots at the Costco.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
It was nice. A lot of gravel driveways and a little bit of off-roading. You know, the usual.
Nice.
The usual. Hydraulics, no suspension. Actually, it was kind of frustrating because the nose lift wouldn't work above 70 kilometers an hour.
That's
so you
right.
couldn't actually go quick down the dirt roads without the nose coming down. Or there really needs to be an off-road mode for that.
For the 570
that
GT.
overrides
There's a new
the
market.
570
They'll do that
GT's
next
nose
time
lift.
somebody's going to drive one around Iceland.
When that
Which
Tax
should be
the
in
Rich
about 5
guy
years.
makes a film with one, you know.
Yeah.
What else is happening in the world? What are you driving, Aaron?
Well, I can't tell you anything about that one. I'm cramming.
Oh, you're embargoed on that Honda?
No, I'm not. I just don't know jack about it. It's one of the candidates, so I'm just driving around in the. I have absolutely nothing to say about it. I drove the Stinger a couple weeks ago. Have you talked about
Oh,
the
the Stinger? No.
Have you driven the Stinger?
I have not.
It's-
The rear-wheel drive, twin-turbo,
V6.
Kia.
sports sedan Kia.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
And?
we get there. It's good. And it's
You have to start it off
surprisingly
like,
good.
there I was.
So there I was.
I just got back from driving the Stinger.
Yeah, I
Was
gave
it-
it a dab
was
of
it
Oppo.
what,
So there I
Tenerife,
was
Mozambique?
at the
Where was it? Sri Lanka?
it was even more exotic. Mojave.
Oh.
Actually, the event was at in North Hollywood. It was the hotel.
Oh,
The Beverly
fantastic.
Garland in North Hollywood. And I'll tell you how
You have
much
to drive
I'll
home
tell you how
afterward.
much of a Frank Bacon I am. It's 10 minutes from my house, and I stayed at the hotel.
Oh, my God. You
I
whiner.
sort of forgot to tell them not to make a reservation. I'm like, well, fuck it.
You forgot.
So we
you
get to
forgot
the.
you lived in Los Angeles.
I forgot. Yeah, yeah. No, I remember that part. I just forgot there was no box for no hotel reservation, and I forgot to tell them no hotel. Screw it. So no, it took place. We went to the exotic Hyundai Kia Proving Ground.
Where
they had forgotten
in California City.
Yeah,
the Hyundai
in
Proving
Mojave.
Down is awesome. Did you guys have fun up there?
We did have fun. I mean, have you been to Milford?
Yes, I
GM's
have.
Milford?
Yeah.
It's a bit like what you would expect the Hyundai Kia Proving Ground to be. Although I
Okay.
like their handling course,
Yeah.
which is lined like a regular road with a yellow line, a dotted line, and a white line. So you drive hell for leather and you feel like you're doing something really illegal, which is
Yes.
kind of cool.
That's great.
So we get there
They have a
and
huge skid pad.
yeah. Well, they had that coned out as like an autocross. So we get there and they have lined up BMW 440i, the Sportback, A5 Sportback, Porsche Panamera, Audi A7, BMW, some kind of 6 Series, ISF, and a Q30, or Q50, but the middle
Confidence.
one.
Yeah,
Imperative
that's
drive,
for sure.
And there was all those cars, granted parked a little farther away to make it slightly less convenient, and a line of Stingers, and they said, go at it. Now,
Okay.
I think we all know that I'm no you, but
That's very kind.
the,
Thank you. You're also no Brian.
I'm definitely no. I'm pretty sure I'm no Brian. I'm like I'm a non-metric Brian.
Right.
The Stinger was not by any stretch of the imagination the worst car there. Now, granted, we had the best Stingers.
You guys was not by any stretch of the imagination.
The
worst
worst
car.
car.
So what does that mean? It was mid-pack?
It was good.
Yeah,
Actually,
what exactly does
I
that
think,
mean?
Okay, so I think it was close to. I think it was close to front of pack. The only thing I really liked better was the 440.
Okay.
But keep in mind, these were, it was the Q50 wasn't the red S.
No, yeah,
it was
yeah.
the silver S.
Yeah, they
Right.
pulled
You know?
it's
Yeah, the
it's
300
base model
horsepower.
comparative.
But
drive.
to be fair, and we were driving the top end Stinger, but to be fair, when the fuck did you ever think a Stinger could go toe to toe with a BMW? I liked it better than the Audi. I liked it definitely better than either of the Japanese cars. It really held its own. It was nice.
Is
It was,
it plentiful fast?
it is plentiful fast. The 4-cylinder is. 2's a little bit. The 2-liter. We only got limited time. We didn't have to get to drive
Wait,
2
the
liters.
365 is a 6, right?
There's a 6 and a 4. There's
Yeah,
a
okay.
2-liter turbo and and the high end one, I forget what they're calling
Did you
what they're calling
drive the
high-end
fast
Stinger.
one or just the slow one?
No, we drove the fast one.
Oh, okay, cool.
My reputation precedes me. No, most of our time was spent in the 6-cylinder car. We went. They had us on their. They had their high speed oval.
Oh yeah, it's sweet,
thing's
right?
fucking huge.
Yeah, they got a beast oval over there.
What, a couple miles sort of thing?
I think
It's like
5?
4 or 5 miles
Yeah, I think it's
around.
5.
We
Yeah,
tried to
it's long.
clock it.
That's
It's
awesome.
Really long, yeah.
The car's supposed to go 160 something. And they're bragging about how they're faster than the BMWs. Are going, well, yeah, we know that, but that's because of the gentleman's agreement that says they
Yeah,
limit
they're
to
limited.
155.
And oh, by the way, I've never once gotten a limited German car ever.
Have you? I never have.
Have you ever been in a German press car that was limited? I never have.
Nope.
I've hit
Nope.
the limiter or gone past whatever they say it was.
Yeah.
In basically every car I've ever gotten.
Yeah, I think all the media drives, they don't bother with the limiter.
Yeah,
Can I just say that
anytime
for
where
the-
I've tried, it's been easily passable.
Oh, yeah.
For the sake of all the PR people listening to your show, I have never driven faster than the posted speed limit in a press car. Of
course
I
not.
just want to make that abundantly clear.
I don't think it's
Except on a racetrack, right?
I don't think it
Except on a
says in the
racetrack.
agreement you can't speed. It says
That's
you
right.
can't drive drunk or be an idiot,
Yeah,
but it
says
doesn't say you can't speed.
It says you can't smoke. You have to wear your seat. Yeah, you can't park it on the street, but you can speed.
Does it say that? I got to start
The
reading
new
these
Toyota
things.
ones say don't park on the street.
Don't park on the street.
Isn't that
What the
interesting?
fuck am I going to do about that?
I
live
got
in an apartment.
to start reading these things sooner or later.
Does anybody read them?
They used to highlight.
Someone does.
Yeah, I'm sure someone does.
Someone does. I read the exotic car ones. Sometimes they stick some weird
yes,
shit in
they
there.
do. Well, you know,
Sometimes it's like the vehicle must win any comparison test, you know. Looking at you, Ferrari. I'm just kidding.
I'm pretty sure I'm on Ferrari's blacklist now.
Are you?
Yeah, I drove.
do?
I
you
drove
say
and
something bad?
no, I drove and reviewed fairly a privately owned GTC4
Oh, did-
Lusso.
Oh.
Yeah, I
Did
asked.
anyone inform you that they were displeased?
Not yet.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Will they be displeased when they read your fair review?
It's Ferrari, so yes, they will be.
They will be. Yeah.
Yeah, if you
is
say
Ferrari of
anything
Canada,
critical.
is it still FNA? It's still
It's still
FNA,
FNA,
right?
yeah.
They're an easy target for me to make fun of, but in actuality, I now have a pretty decent relationship with Ferrari. So
That's good.
I have to wait until the buff books are done.
Yes.
But when they're done, I can have my chance at the
Good.
cars, and that's okay.
Yeah.
That's Motor Trend's giving them crap about it, but they're hogging up quite a fleet of supercars at the moment.
Oh, I bet.
They
I
have
bet.
all the 720Ss.
Yes, I saw that the other day. I'm booked for one out here in 3 weeks.
Are you?
Yeah.
I probably am behind you. I'm supposed to get it in December sometime.
Yeah, so I'm
They have
ahead of
all
you.
of them?
Yeah. How is that
All
possible?
two. All two.
Oh, all right.
Yeah.
I don't know what you need two for, but all two.
Sure. Well, they're different specifications. The
Those are
the purple one is more of a straight up configuration, and the blue one has got buckets in it and and more track oriented. So it's probably
yeah.
got probably
You
courses.
think you want the track one, but you don't. There was an LT out here the green,
green
LT.
one? Yeah,
Did you
yeah,
drive
we
the
drove
green
that, yeah,
LT?
yep.
With no air conditioning.
Yes.
Fucking.
I know, and it was hot.
Who? I mean, honestly, who wants a $400,000 car without air
But
conditioning?
wait, it's worse.
Where is that customer?
Exactly.
I mean, seriously.
I was 100 pounds heavier when I drove that car.
Oh, you probably had a bad day.
Oh,
Actually,
it
I
was-
gonna
it
say,
was
you
not-
you look good, but that
Thanks,
was
thanks. Yeah, that was a bad couple of days.
was a
and
bad-
I was hot, and I was.
and they had
large.
a button for it too. That's what drove me nuts. They had the snowflake button there.
And when you press it
just
and the light
doesn't
didn't turn
do
on?
anything.
You know who buys them without air conditioning? I'm going to guess.
Morons.
Years and years and years ago, my father had a girlfriend who was Israeli. And she wouldn't buy air conditioning in a car because she insisted, and we lived in Rochester, right across the pond from you guys.
That's right.
She insisted it didn't get hot enough to buy air conditioning. So I bet there are people who live in certain areas of the world where they can afford $400,000 supercars on a once-a-week basis who might say, not hot enough, don't need air conditioning.
I don't think that person exists.
No, I don't know about that. We still have a federal tax, $100 federal tax on any car that has air conditioning in Canada.
Really?
No
Yeah.
kidding.
Yeah, federal
Is that
tax.
an environmental thing?
No, it's just a tax grab from
It's just,
40 years ago, probably.
Yeah.
It's a we don't want Canadians to be too happy tax.
Yeah,
You guys
exactly.
inherited, I got to say, Eastern Canada, you inherited the British sense of being miserable, like better than any other former colony. Because the Brits have raised misery to an art form,
Yep.
and Eastern Canadians have that. You know,
Why is
Oh, yeah.
that? Eastern Canada's so nice.
It's fantastic.
But we were part
there
of the Commonwealth
It's
still.
a resentment of the French thing.
I don't know about that. I think it's just a British way of life. You got to
It
be
really
miserable
is.
somehow.
Well, it's all great. It's all
that's
sucks
right.
somehow.
That's right.
Yeah,
That's
there
right.
is kind of that.
Granted, shit.
Granted, if you ever driven between Niagara Falls and Toronto, you understand. Although, very, very smart move on the part of your country. See, that's how you prevent illegal immigration. You put all
what?
the really crappy areas of the country right by the border. Because if you do that drive, like if you're going from New York to Detroit and you cut through Canada and go from Niagara Falls to
Detroit.
to Detroit,
the
you will go
worst?
what
It
a
is.
you'll go
Why
what
is
a
it the
fucking
worst?
miserable. Have you ever driven to Sacramento up the 5?
Yeah.
Imagine that, but 9 times as boring.
Oh, really?
It's so uninteresting. And if you
Yep.
take the back roads, it doesn't get any more interesting. Farm.
It's worse actually. The back
Really?
roads are not good, and our roads aren't great because of course we've got the climate,
Yeah.
and they all degrade and fall apart. But the freeway between the freeways between Niagara Falls and Detroit,
Toronto is the
that is
worst.
it is just a horrible thing.
I mean, the
It
worst.
is the
I think
most-
the worst it gets in America is probably 95 from New York to Miami. That's about as shitty a drive as you can do in America.
this is worse.
It's worse.
Yeah.
All right.
And then
I
you
went
go
to
there,
Toronto
and then
and
you-
then went 2 hours east of Toronto once, which might be that same highway.
What were you doing out there?
Do you know Andrew Comrie Picard?
Yeah,
racing
of course I
driver?
do. Yeah.
So we're hanging out one night and we're like super drunk, and he said he's got a CRX in Toronto.
Yeah.
He says it this way: it's in Toronto.
Yeah.
I go, all right, and as a goof, I bought the car from him for $500 at a bar. The
Okay.
car was in Toronto. This is in Los Angeles, mind you. This isn't in Toronto.
Yeah,
this is
because
here.
he lives here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I convinced JF, my producer of the Drive series, to pay for my trip to Toronto to go get this car that I bought. Well, when we got to Toronto, it turns out it wasn't there. It turns out it was 2 hours east of Toronto.
Yeah.
So we had to drive out to fucking who knows where. I mean, what's 2 hours east of Toronto?
Nothing. It's literally nothing.
It was nothing.
I go out there. My son goes to university out there.
Yeah.
And there's nothing out there.
It was nothing. And we went out there, and the car turned out to be a complete rusted shit. I mean, the car seemed like it would turn to dust
Right.
in a
But
What
matter
did
of
you
months.
expect when you bought a car from Canada?
Yeah.
I saw 3 days of work out of it. I was like, I can get this car and then go work and get paid to make a video about getting the car.
Right.
Which I did. And then, so it was at a used car lot.
Can I just say, by the way, the fact that you made this a profitable trip, you got somebody else to pay for it, and then you got there and complained that the car was too rusty, you could get Canadian citizenship right
Right.
now.
Yes.
I could.
Yeah.
You have
that
it
is
down
very
pat.
Canadian.
I didn't take the car, and instead, I bought a different car that was sitting there for like $600,
Which
was
was?
a camouflage painted 1994 Golf 1.8 liter, which as I learned could be re-imported to the U.S. because the Canadian spec Golfs met U.S. emissions.
Yes.
And I bought it and drove it across the border into America, got to my parents' house in New York, parked it there. It sat there for 4 months, and she gave it to her gardener. That was exactly what
perfect.
happened to
Could
that.
we-
That poor Canadian Golf.
Could we even buy? We couldn't buy a 1.8, could we?
No, it didn't exist here, but it did a bit. It did whatever the motor it was. I don't 1.8, 1.6, whatever it was.
No,
it was not a U.S. spec motor, but it
Yeah.
had an EPA sticker on it.
I was
Yeah.
I was in Britain about that time, 93, 94, and I drove those 1.8 liter Golfs, and they were
It
miserable.
was a half
It's
a
like
bump
90
shittier than we
horsepower.
got. It was
Yeah.
pretty terrible. Yeah,
Yeah.
it was pretty
Yeah.
terrible.
No.
Well, there
not
you
a great
go.
thing.
Canada.
That's exactly it.
So-
yeah. As a
Yeah,
manufacturers
but you
can
guys get skyride.
we get what?
You get the Japanese. You get the 15-year import law.
Yes, we
You know,
do.
and you know what's showing
Ooh.
up? I'm so jealous. All these right-hand drive. Oh no! So the Mitsubishi vans, they've been there. What the hell?
Yes.
is the van called?
Delcias.
Yeah, they're
The
all over the
Delicas.
place.
Del-
Delica.
Delica.
Is Delica
And
or
now the-
Delcia?
Delica.
Delica. And
Oh, they're
now
all
the
over Toronto.
Delicas are, now that they're getting old enough, they're trickling into the Pacific Northwest.
Sure.
I was in Portland and saw 3
There's
of
a
them.
bunch right there in the middle, Timmy. Oh yeah,
That's
good
it.
in the
Yep.
picture. Yeah,
I
pull that up.
love
Yep.
that
There's
van.
3 or 4 of these running around Venice and Santa Monica.
No
They're getting
kidding.
very popular.
With California plates?
You know, I haven't paid much attention, but I think you can import a K car into California.
No, it's bigger. It's
Yeah,
not.
some there. I've seen some 25-year-old K car stuff. They're
you
they're,
can
they're coming out.
definitely
Yeah.
all K cars are California eligible because they're fucking tiny.
Oh yeah,
well,
the small
but what they
displacement,
do,
right?
but their deal, but their deal is you can only because I wanted to buy one for about 5 minutes,
Mm-hmm.
and you can only register them as an off-road vehicle, and they put some sort of limiter that
Oh.
keeps them at 25.
Right.
But then you register in
miles
another
an
state.
hour?
Yeah. But then you reg as an off.
Yeah.
But then you register it in someplace else and take the limiter off.
The next time I see one, I'll go look at the license plate more carefully. But I've seen at least 3 or 4 of these things parked in those parking lots on the beach, right, Timmy? You've seen them around, right?
Yeah,
It's the
for sure.
Tim
Japanese.
surfs, so he knows what's in
I'm
the
sure
beach
he's
parking
seen them.
lots.
What's the 4-wheel drive Vanagon?
Synchro.
Synchro. It's the that sounds
is like a Japanese
It's the
Synchro, yeah.
Japanese Synchro.
Synchros are
Lexus is the
big money
Japanese
right now.
Mercedes, and the Delica is the Japanese Synchro.
Been waiting the whole show to do your Robin Leach, haven't you?
I have no. That's not my Robin Leach.
That's
it's
not?
no. My Robin Leach is a lot higher. My Robin Leach is terrible. It's Alan Partridge, which nobody will know.
No.
From now on, just call that the Robin Leach.
Yeah, like, we can go with that.
reference.
It's the all-wheel drive. It's the Japanese Synchro.
That's pretty good.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
that's
Thank
pretty
you.
good.
I practiced I practiced 25 years ago.
Where were we?
Canada, JDM,
Canada, oh, yeah.
15-year import
Yeah.
law.
So, I mean, someone in Canada is just stockpiling stuff, waiting
They're
for
coming
that.
in all the time. I seriously looked. It came up on one of those Facebook JDM auction things.
Yeah.
A 15-year-old Polo GT, sort of like a GTI.
That would be cool.
And it was 15 years old, and it was tidy. It had like 60,000 miles, and I'm like, that's what I need. So I email them straight away, and it's sold. It's like honestly.
Well, I think
and it was left-hand
From
drive.
Europe?
From Japan.
Oh, really?
Left-hand drive Polo GT.
That's
from
weird. I wonder
Yeah.
where that originally came from. Sold new in Japan?
Sold new in Japan. You know what?
drive?
Yeah, they love their European left-hand drive cars.
I think
Japan.
it's actually a lot of people ask me about importing cars, and I think it's because I bought a Skyline, and that makes me some sort of expert.
You're an expert now. Yeah.
Buying the Skyline didn't make me an expert. Doubling my money in 6 months made me an expert.
That's right.
But I think people in America need to start looking in Europe, because some of the European shit from the early '90s is gangster.
Oh, there's
Yeah.
amazing stuff.
Yeah, I'm starting to see those Alpha SZs on Bring a Trailer and Maserati Mistrals and like just weird. No, is it not Mistrals? I'm sorry, Shamal.
The Shamal. Oh, that's so
Which
cool.
I love the Shamal
Yeah.
actually. Tim, can we see the Maserati Shamal real quick? Because I think it's Giugiaro. Is it Giugiaro? Is that
Who
weird?
was designing for them back then? Was it Giugiaro? Or was
Shamal? I don't. It looks. I would guess it's a Giugiaro design. It really has all the elements of
It's
it.
the bi-turbo body, isn't
Yeah,
it?
it's the end of
it's
the
the B-turbo.
bi-turbo. Yeah.
You could get a B-turbo.
Yes.
Forgive me, Mr. Canada.
Hey,
B-turbo.
I speak 1.5 languages.
B-turbo. But couldn't you get B-turbos here?
You could, but B-turbos are shit, and the Shamal has a 400 horsepower version of the B-turbo engine.
So it's turbo
And
shit.
It's turbo shit, but it's slightly less turbo shit than the turbo shit we could get here.
The trunk lid doesn't even fit on the car. It's pretty cool, though.
It actually looks like a bangle butt before there was a bangle butt.
I love the fenders, the way they cut the fenders. I love that.
The weird. That's a strange cut. Look at that. It
It
actually
did something similar to the original Countach, didn't it? Had a really weird cut
was
like
it
that.
was it a Lambo or is this Gandini or is this
exaggerated with the rockers there too? I mean,
what a fucking weird looking cool car that is.
That would be one of those would be pretty neat.
Wait, so go from that, Tim. Well, leave that window up and just pull up the Alfa Romeo SZ,
Oh, those are.
which is a similar design
Yeah.
from a similar period. I just saw one on Bring a Trailer, and it's like just angular and weird, and it's the most. There we go. Yeah, look at that. Now, is that a better or worse execution? I think that's a worse execution.
That's
of the shit.
horrid.
It's a bit clumsy.
That's
at
the
front,
ugliest
yeah.
fucking thing I think I've ever seen.
I mean, yeah, but it's like a bulldog. It's so ugly, you want it.
It's like it's like a bulldog with a tumor.
All right, so I think the Shamal is way better looking.
Do you know that?
Now that
Yeah.
I go back to that. Go back to Shamal.
Do you know what's that Fiat? The really weird looking
Oh,
convertible
that's bad.
Barchetta?
The Fiat Barchetta, yeah.
Barchetta.
Barchetta, yeah.
That's not a bad.
It's the
looking
most
thing from the
90s. I think, I don't know. This is an awkward year for sports car design.
Oh yeah.
We should take a break real quick. Regroup. We got some Facebook questions we're going to go to because you guys are very popular on the internet. We can have that.
Love it.
I got to break away and sell some real estate right now though. That's how we do it.
Are you still
Good.
doing the thing we did last time?
Oh, what? Doing vocal contests for ad reads? Yeah, we had a couple where we turned the ad reads into impressions.
You didn't get in trouble. You didn't get fired by your advertisers for that.
No, they enjoyed that actually. They thought it was fun.
Oh, cool.
But now I record the ads at home. That way you guys don't have to sit through me recording ads. I don't have to put you
That was
to
the
work.
highlight of the show.
I know.
I'm impressed because I've been watching Sopranos, which I've never seen, but I've been watching
You've
Sopranos.
never seen The Sopranos?
I'd seen season 1, but I hadn't seen
No
all of it.
kidding.
Wow.
I was feeling a little
Boy,
depressed
what
after
a treat to get to watch the whole Sopranos for the first
beginning.
time.
But it
right
brings
now.
me back
Yeah,
to
2017.
home. But now my kid comes home, I'm talking to him like this. I go, hey, the fuck is this? Because we
Calm. Where's the fucking gabagool?
yeah. What? You're gonna he comes in here, this guy comes in here with a little beard like a gadabadoosh, you know?
The first episode of The Sopranos. You remember the first episode of The Sopranos? Where Tony chases down the guy in the Lexus LS400
Yep.
and runs the guy over?
Yeah.
Oh, that shit hooked me.
Yeah.
That's
Well,
the-
and what do I have in the driveway?
what do you have?
That
in
would
the
be a
driveway?
Lexus LS400. It's your
Oh,
car.
mine.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I was
So
like,
I
Oh,
thought-
talking
your
about?
your
I was-
crazy Lexus.
It's not. It's only crazy because it's got a lot of miles on it. But
Yeah.
Aaron's got it right now.
Yeah, we have it. We need to borrow a car.
All
We're
right.
gonna drive to Arizona.
We
gotta
will
stop, take a
update.
break.
Well, we will update. That's the thing we can come into when we get back from break.
All the stuff that's broken on your Lexus currently.
There's probably a few things. Probably a couple. We'll be back. Now is now. All right, yo, here we are. It's the thing. Okay, we have a couple things we need to accomplish this second half.
Mm-hmm.
You need to tell me how my car is doing. And
Yeah.
then you need to tell me. So when I last saw Aaron, which was, where was it?
When I picked up your car.
When you
about
picked up
3
my
weeks
car,
ago.
he
Okay.
says, I got to tell you, I bought this horrible thing.
Well, I bought a car that I thought was the worst car an automotive journalist can buy. And then Matt kind of
Which
gets
is
like,
what, a
confused.
Prius
Well,
or a
that's the thing.
Camry? Those
the
are the
P
two-
and the R
Yeah.
weren't out of his mouth, and I went, no, I didn't buy the worst.
Did
thing.
you buy a Mitsubishi iMiev?
Mark Vaughn has one of those, which
I know,
makes
so
it
does
legit.
Aaron Robinson, which is embarrassing.
That's horrible.
That's not.
Apparently, he got it for like $6,000 brand new.
Yeah,
or
those things are
something.
Sure.
like free.
It's
Right.
basically
I don't
a
think
golf
that's the
cart.
worst thing.
It is a golf cart.
Yeah.
I fit it at my old place. We had this little narrow driveway between the two houses. Did not fit a car at all, but I put an iMev there.
That thing couldn't be a bigger
You-
piece. Okay,
you
what
know
terrible
me.
car did you buy?
You're not going to guess?
All right,
Mitsubishi Mirage.
that's bad.
Oh, that would have been bad. You know, I
That's
had one of
bad.
those. I had one of those as a long termer for 6 months, just to prove it can be done. So my
prove
favorite,
it
one of
can
my
be
favorite,
done.
one of my favorite Robin stories
martyr.
is so we put 10,000 miles on the thing in 6 months, and Robin, my wife Robin, who Matt has met. She drove the car as well. So another journalist calls me up and he goes, "Don't you have one of these things long term?" And I said, "Yeah." He goes, "I'm afraid to drive it like faster than 60." And Robin knows this guy. And I said, "It's so and so. He's afraid to drive it faster than 60." And loud enough for him to hear, she goes, "Tell him he's a pussy. I drive at 80 all the time." This, by the way, is why I married the right woman.
Okay, so it's not a Mirage, it's not an iMiev, it's not a Prius, it's not a Camry.
It's not particularly new. No, it's not the thing. And which, on the one hand, leads me to believe it might be better than those things, but no, it's actually worse.
Is it an Oldsmobile Alero?
Oh, no, that would be cool. You know me.
Oh, it's
No,
not
not
cool.
yet.
It's
You
not
know
cool.
me,
It's
and
not.
Alero
Another
would
20,
be
20
cool.
years, the Alero might
I
be
know
cool.
I'm not going to. Okay,
All
here's
right,
the hint,
just tell
and it's
me.
going to be a letdown.
Just tell me.
I timed it to see how long I could go without seeing one of these things in the San Fernando Valley. The longest I went without seeing one was 28 seconds.
It's not a Camry or a Corolla.
It's
a
a Corolla.
Corolla.
I bought a Corolla.
All right. It's not
Automatic,
thought
I
you were-
hope.
mean,
I bought an automatic Corolla S.
What year?
In 2002.
Well, so what? Who cares? I mean,
It's
it's a
reliable.
sucky car, but it's not like a. Oh, wow, you traitor! It's not. It's
No,
not like
no.
that.
Matter of
There's,
fact-
there's a reason why
Matter
they
of
sold
fact-
a million of them.
I'm
There
kinda
are
happy.
millions of
You
them.
race Japanese cars.
I do.
Corolla XRS, dope.
Yeah, the
Corolla
XRS
with a
that was so
2ZZ
cool.
and
Well,
a
the
6-speed. The
XRS
XRS rocked.
Yeah.
Except mine's an automatic S. But
it's-
the worst part
There's
is so
worse things you could have bought than that.
we have
Yeah.
our. That's true. I realize now I was thinking of them on the drive home when I picked up your Lexus, and I'm thinking, yeah, I could have bought a Chrysler Sebring, like
That would have
the
been
one that became a
convertible.
200.
Yeah, that would have
Yeah.
been worse.
Convertible might be all right.
No, but then
convertible.
it's a
not all
wet
right.
noodle of
Yeah.
a platform.
The old, but pre-2006.
That's my impression of a Sebring over a speed bump.
One of my favorite.
In fairness, a first generation 6 Series is the.
Yeah, that's
exactly
so true.
the same.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah,
Could have
sorry.
bought worse things. But now, so we got it. We have an Accord wagon, and somebody hit it. I had 14 years without collision insurance on this car. my kid just started driving. My younger kid, who's college age, he was going to be commuting to college. So I figured, let's put collision on it. 3 days after I put collision on the car, somebody hits Robin while she's driving.
Really?
Oh,
so
perfect.
thank friggin'
They've
goodness.
definitely got
Yeah.
some white collar FBI agents investigating
So-
you for that one.
Oh,
That,
yeah,
seems, that
yeah,
seems
for real.
shady as hell,
Yeah,
bro.
you triggered something in a database somewhere.
I'll be fine. Listen,
planned
can,
that,
you
didn't
can
you?
consider you can lean against the car and total it. So we bought while we wait for it to get totaled. My mechanic, the radiator support is bent, the fans are hitting their cages, and my mechanic literally said, "Oh, that'll pull right out." My mechanic's buying the car.
Right. Yeah, exactly. There you go.
So I got the Corolla, and I'm going, okay, my kid's going to be driving it. 2 weeks before he removed a parking lens using an obliging telephone pole while pulling out of a parking spot. I'm like, okay, when you hear the noise, get out and figure out your options. He goes, I did. I get out and looked at it, and I still turned the wheel the wrong way. So I'm driving the Corolla going, okay, don't get it too attached. Don't get attached. Don't get attached.
Yeah.
This
You know
may
what
be
you got to
temporary.
do?
I
You
kind of
got
like
to take
it.
this key right here and just fucking key the shit out of one of the doors.
That's right.
You know what I
Get it
mean?
over with.
I was
Yeah.
going to do
Yeah.
that, but thankfully we already have a bumper scuffed and a broken taillight lens. But you know what? I don't have the key for it.
Well, you know
the
what you
best
could
part
do?
is?
You just key it and write some like horrible thing, and then your son can say like, "Oh, I had this girlfriend that couldn't get over me," and you never. And actually,
That's
it
right.
might make him a little more
Cooler?
appealing
But,
Yeah.
listen,
than if he
it's a
just
good
drove
story.
a regular Corolla.
You know what? I wanted. So, see, well, actually, so he had to take his driver's test in the pickup truck because the wagon was having a sick day. And I'm like, it's the, if you can dodge a wrench, you can dodge anything kind of school. So listen, if he can manage to get his dipstick wet driving a Corolla with an automatic transmission, he will be able to get any girl he wants. I figured this is a challenge for him.
Have cars ever gotten you actually?
No.
real
And then,
laid? It's
so
really never gotten
No,
me
but it
anywhere.
could keep you from getting it.
Here's a great topic. Every time I drive, some stupid mid-engine $300,000-$400,000 car, somebody says, "Oh, you got to get pussy with that
Yeah.
thing." I'm like,
No.
"Yeah, sure. It's a dude magnet."
Yeah, it is.
Every single one of those cars, and this goofy Camaro, same thing. It's all dudes.
Yeah.
Dudes want to talk about
I
these
get
things.
all the ass I want, but it's
There's-
yours, sir.
That's right. Yeah.
The funniest story that I haven't told in a very long time was I had an Aventador Roadster, and I was at Starbucks, and one of my favorite things to do would be to wear like mesh shorts and flip flops and just look as schlubby as I could look. Like drive the thing to the gym and then like not shower before getting back in it and just be like dripping sweat and getting
Yeah.
So I got this coffee and I'm sitting outside and someone comes up, "Is that your car?" I'm just like, I don't tell people that that it's my car, but rather than explain the whole thing,
Yeah.
you just
The
go,
speech
yeah.
speaks to
I am an accountant and I would love to do your taxes. And gave me her business card,
Right.
CPA.
Yeah.
and she
Yeah.
wanted to do my taxes.
Yes, she did.
Which
I'll bet
she
she
never
did.
She
she
did.
never got to see my documents.
I bet she had a little investment. I bet there was a deduction she had
Actually,
for you.
when Hannah and I went on our first date, and I could somehow convince her to come back to my place, we got back to my house, and my taxes were on the fucking counter, and I didn't plan on her coming back to the house. They're just out. She goes, "Did you leave your taxes out so I could see how much money I'm like, "No." And she's like, "Well, why are they here?" I'm like, "I didn't think you were coming. I don't know."
Right.
That woman's a keeper.
And so I just went out of town for a minute, and my returns just came in, and I left an envelope for her on the kitchen counter that just said Hannah with a big heart on it, and inside it was my taxes.
Oh, you romantic fool. So
wait, so here I see all where you're going with this.
Yeah.
What kind of car attracts what kind of person? Is that where you were going with that? Was that going to be like a bit?
No, it was not going to be a bit. But I do have we got to talk about my.
You can just tell him what he needs to do. It's okay, Tim.
We're good. We got to talk about this 570 GT I drove in the summer.
Okay.
Because it involves you.
Really?
Yeah.
What I do?
You were in the
Yeah.
car, don't you remember?
What I do?
Your reputation precedes you.
Did you drive it in Iceland? They know about me in
Yeah.
those cars.
Apparently, they know about you in Canada, in Toronto.
What I do in Toronto?
Get this. So I go film the car. I'm out in the countryside. Come back to the city. I'm almost home. There's a parking spot in front of my local restaurant. Park the car. Get a table out on the patio. Have some salad because I'm eating healthy and all this stuff. And there's a family that comes out and they're looking at the car. So I'm nice guy. I open the car for them. Talk to them a little bit. And of course, I explain what I do, and we talk a little bit about the car. And the last thing that the youngest kid says is, "Do you know the smoking tire?"
You said, "Of course I do."
I said,
"This is the premier destination for automotive video on the internet."
Yeah, exactly.
Did he say you kind of look like me?
I think he knew.
it is.
Yeah, and there's the
On
story
your Instagram,
right there.
Brian Makse, and Max is spelled all kinds of fucked up. It's Makse.
Yeah.
Brian Makse.
Sure.
Makesy.
Yeah.
It's metric spelling.
How nice is that GT though? That's a car.
It's nice, but I like the S so much better.
You prefer the S?
I prefer the
Understandable.
S. Yeah.
Both times I've had the GT, I have really made use out of that trunk space behind the seats.
I did too,
Yeah.
and you can't argue with that.
Yeah.
But
and they're both just so fast. What's crazy? In Iceland, I took one of those guys. You know, Arctic Trucks, the crazy.
Yes.
I took one of the Arctic Trucks guys for a ride, and he'd never been in a sports car.
Right.
They don't have sports cars there, of any kind. So I took him for a ride, and I scared the shit out of this guy. He'd never seen like this, and then I told him this is the slowest car that they make. And he just couldn't comprehend that. He's like, "What do you mean?" And I was like, "Every other car you can buy, like all 4 or 5 other cars this company makes, go faster than this." And he's like, "I don't understand. How can you go faster? I don't get it." It was very funny. Yeah, I think women liked the McLarens.
Yeah. My wife loves going for drives in those.
I wish I had a girl that liked riding right seat. My girl gets motion sickness.
Oh,
I have
no.
to drive all slow when she's in the car. Yeah.
Yeah, mine will no longer ride, and that was 14 years ago. But she will no longer ride with me on the racetrack.
Really?
Yep.
You know,
Nope.
there's like, so there's some girls will, if they're really open minded, will give you a pass to fuck some sort of celebrity or whatever.
Yeah.
I can have a pass to have like a girl passenger in the canyons one day.
Right.
I don't get to touch her, but like Hannah will be like, here you go. This is Holly, and she's gonna ride with you today. And, I'll see you when you get home, and I'll have sandwiches.
It sounds like a great day.
I get the complete opposite. All I get is nonstop complaining that I don't drive fast enough. That I
see
drive
that.
like an old man.
I can see that. Robinson, let me fucking drive.
Yeah, she's like, "You're
I
not
can
doing.
see
You're
her
driving
being-
like a pussy."
I can see her being like Susie from Curb, like, "You fucking fuck. Let me drive this piece of shit."
I'll complain about the handling, and she'll be like, "How would you know?"
Next time you stay home, just send her.
Yeah, I'm telling you, you want to have her. Robin used to race up in the canyons, up in Westlake Boulevard and Decker Canyon, all those really good roads. That's where she grew up, not on the road, but she used to race all the guys, and she had a CJ5. I'm telling you, the woman has nerves of fucking steel.
Listen, when I think handling.
Yeah, that's what I think of CJ5.
But it put paid to the fact that all these guys with Mustangs, nobody could drive them. She's got a great story about the time a guy tried to pick her up using his Mustang as like the bait, and then let it slip that the Mustang had an automatic transmission. And she, loud enough for all the women to hear, she tells the story much better. But she's like, "You drive an automatic?" She's like, "I'm a girl, and I drive a fucking manual."
That's very funny.
The CJ5... The
Imagine
CJ5
just getting
had
embarrassed at that fucking ice cream shoppy.
Yeah.
So when I met her, when she pulled up to our first date in a CRX SI.
That's awesome.
I'm like, and 15, 16, however many years later, I am married to her. I knew right away. Yeah.
Pimpin'.
The CJ5 was a V8 and a 3-speed floor shift. I'm so sorry I missed out on that car.
Yeah, you could have had $9,000.
Over $9,000 today.
I want to hear about my car that you have, my Lexus. But I saw a bus yesterday.
Ooh,
did you see on my Instagram?
I saw that on your Hipstagram.
Timmy,
Yeah.
pull up the bus I saw on my Instagram. We don't need to show them my phone. Can you identify the Silver Eagle?
Yeah, it's an Eagle. I don't know which model because they put a cap on it, and I don't know my models. It's an Eagle.
Are
those Volkswagens up top?
Yes, they are. As I later learned, that is Neil Young's personal tour bus.
No kidding.
Yeah, John Ward told me about that later.
So it's either I think it's either a Model 05 or a Model 10, and by the shape of the roof.
Well, look at what appears to be a car grill above the windshield. What is that? That's a fucking grill off a car, and then there's like observation decks on the roof. Well, I don't know if they're Volkswagens, and then there's windows into the cargo holds down there.
Yeah, that's what I was looking at. That's where you go.
That's a gangster-ass bus.
Gotta love Neil Young, though.
The photo honestly doesn't do it justice because that bus, like, I saw that bus from really far away. Like before we pulled into that gas station, I was like, "Look at that thing," and the shine on it was from really far away. Tim, just pull up that picture to the left of it, just so we can get that.
So, yeah,
not that one. One to the left. One to the left.
I'm looking at the bus, and there's
we get that one. That was when I got home.
kissing a cat. Nice.
That was Axel
You gotta
kissing
shoot
me while I was asleep.
So you got to shoot it from the back so we can figure out what motor's in it.
The bus.
Next time,
I see Neil Young's
you
bus
see
at a
Neil
gas
Young's bus, I
station,
want a shot
sure.
from the back. Yeah.
You could figure out what motor's in it by looking at the
You
back?
can tell if it's turbocharged. You can take a pretty good guess.
Oh. How old do you think that bus was? What year?
Oh, that'll be probably 80s or 90s. I don't think they made them much later than that.
I mean, it looks like a recommissioned old bus. That
that's
doesn't
exactly
look like
what it
a new
looks
That
one.
was what Trailways used to have. Trailways exclusively had Eagles.
Was that the double-decker bus, or it was just
No,
up high?
they all had a step up, so you could kind of go. Yeah, it's. Oh, I know way the hell too much about this. They're German. It's a German design.
Do you know
kind
Aaron's
of
a bus enthusiast?
I had no idea.
Yeah, he's a bus enthusiast.
Enthusiast is a strong word, but yeah.
You are
but for the
definitely
record,
a bus
I did not
enthusiast.
bring it up.
No, I wanted to share the Neil Young's tour bus.
I haven't
with you.
seen an Eagle. That's what everybody used to convert was Eagles, and then they just
his boss.
disappeared. All the entertainers had Eagles.
The guy I towed a trailer to Vegas with my Mustang in it for this YouTuber challenge, which I should tell you about because it's pretty funny. And I towed it with a Tahoe. I got one from GM. It was a 5.3 towing 5,600 pounds.
Oh, I'm sure that was fun.
It actually wasn't bad. I was pretty impressed. There's the Tahoe. It actually matched the color scheme of my race car. It was the midnight edition, so it was all black.
Nice.
That's great.
But I had originally booked an Escalade because I wanted to be Baula, and it fell through, which I think means Motor Trend needed it for something. We were towing. Go scroll up to. We were towing my Mustang to Vegas for. You can use that picture there, the middle one, lower middle, for the Rob Ferretti YouTuber challenge. So a bunch of us YouTubers went to Vegas. There's a car missing from that photo, and we had a little race.
Okay.
And this show will go up after the results are announced, so I can talk about it.
Okay.
So, from left to right in that photo, go back to the picture, Tim. Left to right, and the left is David Patterson, that dude in blue on YouTube. That's his 240SX with a 510 wheel horsepower 2JZ swap.
Nice.
Then there's a guy named Tommy F. who's a YouTuber.
Yeah.
I never really heard of him before this thing.
Yeah, I'd seen him
This
before.
guy is awesome.
Yeah.
I hung out with him. He was super fun and is a rock star. And that's his R32. And that R32, the passenger side has been seriously crashed into and crunched. And he bought it back from salvage after he got it crashed and brought it and raced it at this fucking thing.
Oh, good for him.
And then Rob Ferretti's turbocharged C5 Corvette, the big single on it. His makes 610 wheel.
Mm-hmm.
The Skyline is 485 wheel, and then my Mustang on the right, which is 270 wheel.
So how'd you do?
And then Justin Bell drove everyone's car.
Oh yeah.
For a control sample, and then those who wanted to drive their own cars could also drive their own cars. So there's Justin after getting out of my car. So Justin's first set a benchmark in a 991 GT3 from Dream Racing.
Okay.
It's one of those exotics, you race exotics on the track kind of experience places.
Right.
We use their track. So he ran a 54.3 in the GT3, okay? And which was really, 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 really fast.
Okay.
Because I was the fastest YouTuber in the GT3, and I ran a 57.1. So he was real quick in a GT3.
Yeah.
Then he went out in all the cars. Slowest to fastest. Pull up that picture top right, Tim. There we go. The slowest to fastest. So slowest was that black RX-7 owned by a guy named Rob Dahm.
Okay.
3-rotor, huge turbo, but really a half-mile car.
Okay.
And he ran like a minute and 8 or something. It was pretty pitiful.
Yeah.
Then Dave Patterson's car, the blue 240, was a 58.6 or something.
Okay.
Then my Mustang, again, 270 wheel with Justin driving, was a 56.2. So 1.9 off the GT3 with Justin driving.
That's not bad.
And then the crash Skyline was a 54.8 or something for second place. And the C5 Corvette was a 54.1.
Fucking America, dudes!
Right.
And then I went out and oh, by the way, every car during its Well, no, not every car. The Skyline, the RX-7, and the Corvette all broke during the end of their runs.
Right.
So the 240 went back out again, and then I did 4 sessions in my car because my car worked properly.
Nice.
And so I went out. I ran a 57.1 in the GT3. I ran a 55.7 in my car.
You went faster
I went
in your
a second
car.
and a half faster in my car than I went in a GT3. And also, I beat Justin in my car.
Ooh.
Yeah. So I was pretty proud
That's
of
great.
my
Well,
car's
he-
performance.
Well,
and my performance
yours
was good.
Hey,
but my car was a rock star.
Didn't he win Le Mans?
He did.
Yeah. Yeah. Good work.
Yeah.
Good work.
Yeah, no, actually I love Justin Bell. We had a great time out there, and we both there's a video coming out of that experience with my car, and I have my in-car and Justin's in-car also. So you can see both of us driving my Mustang coming soon. So
That's
but that
great.
was super fun.
I understand Neil Young did it in his bus.
Neil Young
After
did
you
it in his
left,
bus.
yeah. 240.7.
And then go, Tim, go down to that Instagram page and scroll down a little more. But on the right side there, you can see how Rob Ferretti's cars ended his run
Whoops.
with only a small engine fire and completely devoid of coolant.
Ooh.
The car is actually fine. It's messy, but it can be fixed. It's not
That's
that
good.
bad.
That's good.
So that was super funny. So how's my Lexus, Aaron?
Your Lexus, I think, needs some front end work.
Does it?
Yeah, so a little clunking over the bumps, which I noticed, but if you stab at the brake pedal, not that I want you to get the idea that I nearly rear-ended somebody on the 405 or anything like that, because I
Yeah.
drive your car with the utmost care, but if you go for the brake quickly, something goes clunk.
Something moves like a forward clunk?
Yeah, there's a clunk in there. So I'm thinking, I don't know. Yeah.
Could be some bushings, maybe.
I'm thinking bushings or ball
It
joints.
could be bushings. I did the bushings. That's not my car, Tim, but that's a great picture. Look at that exhaust. Pull up here's the LS400 with a Bosuzoku.
There, it's up there.
My car is probably all the rest of those pictures, though. Except that one. That's from Mr. Regular. All of them except the one that says, "This is not Matt Farah's $1 Million Mile Lexus."
Is that one up there? Is that that's not the picture, right? The one in the snow in the middle? Is that that's not the shot I took when it was hit 450?
Oh,
That is it, or 950.
Yeah, that's
That's the
someone's-
I
that's
shot
a great
that.
shot.
That's
when
a
the
nice.
car-
Good
That's a
picture.
nice
That
shot.
was
Yeah.
as the car had 950,000 on the
I've
odometer.
I've had a couple people borrow the car that were photographers and came back with like some proper glamour shots of the thing.
I'm not. But
That's
No,
that's a
that's
great.
great.
That's a
And then
great
you're
shot.
great.
Great light on
I,
that too.
I honestly counted you in that group, Aaron.
woohoo! And then I so there's no
So other than maybe bushings or ball joints,
Something
which
in the front end-
one might expect.
and there's something squeaking under the hood. At first we thought it was the alternator working
like
overtime.
squeaking in time with the revs, or squeaking like moving around.
No,
and
no,
jiggling?
squeaking in time with the revs. Some kind of
Oh.
engine. Well, first we thought it was the alternator working overtime because of the battery issue, which I haven't fixed. I'm going to take a stab at that myself.
The
brakes
battery,
light
the
switch-
brake light switch. Yeah.
Brake light switch.
So the brake light switch, the thing on the pedal that
Yep.
actually tells the brake. It was bad when I bought the car, and that was 3 years and 70,000 miles ago, and it's gone bad again. And now the brake lights stay on when you turn the car off, unless you like jam the brake pedal to the floor, and then they'll turn off.
No, it's sneakier than that.
What's that?
They'll turn off, but then in the middle of the night,
They'll come back on.
they turn back on.
no
way.
that's
yes,
not good.
because our neighbors saw the brake lights starting to flash.
Oh no!
Because we had checked it and the
Sneaky
battery's
fucker.
dead. So I put a battery cutoff switch on the car just to temporarily solve the problem. But when you close the hood, they got that one
Sometimes it
wrong.
knocks it back on?
No, it shorts it's an unscrewing one,
Right.
but it shorts to the battery terminal, so the power goes back on.
Oh,
So
fuck.
the car has
Through the hood?
outsmarted me. Yeah. So the car has outsmarted me 3 times. So
Oh
now
my
when we're
God.
not driving it, we have to unscrew it all the way and place it on the shifter.
Look, off the record,
Hmm?
on the record, if you were to hypothetically drive the car off a cliff, I wouldn't be too upset.
I love that car.
Great.
I love what I love best is
Yours.
what I love. What I
Keep
love,
it in your driveway.
Well, again, the thing I love best about it is that you pay the bills. That's what I
Yes.
love. It's clunking. I'll call Matt for their credit card.
I mean, look.
And I thought
I
so-
have made a commitment to this car like it's my fucking child. If
Yeah.
it blows up, so be it. If the engine blows, the game is over. But
is that what is it going to take for you to just cut your losses with that thing? Is it the engine?
if it got crashed into,
Uh-huh.
I mean, like, you know, it's fully insured. Don't worry. But if it was in an accident and it required very serious repairs or body work,
Mm-hmm.
or if the engine blew, that would require. And I spent $3,600 a year and a half ago to rebuild the gearbox for what appears to be the second or third time, and the car cost me $1,200, and I'm probably into it for eight grand on top of that over 3 years. And like, granted, I think I've gotten probably 3 or 4 times that in marketing value with the car, but the marketing value of the car is now over.
Right.
Anyone who is going to drive it or write about it or do anything of significance with it has already done so.
That's right. It's all done.
But at the same time, I'm not a quitter. And if the car is going to make it, I have committed to keeping it alive for long enough to get there. So
my nightmare, my absolute nightmare, is that I'm driving the car. It's got 994,000 miles on it, and like a garbage truck blows a stop sign and hits me.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to be the guy who...
That would suck.
I wouldn't blame you personally for that.
No, and I don't know...
I might even, as a thank you, buy you an IMEV.
Thanks, but I've moved up to a Corolla. Oh, and U-joints, but you knew
if you wanted to drive it next time you're in town, I mean, honestly, the noises he's talking about, that shit is super recent. Like, in the last year and a half, it's been out with probably a dozen people, and I've had to do nothing.
That's fantastic.
It really drives. I only didn't drive the car.
Really nice.
It drives really beautifully. I only didn't drive it because I haven't had a chance to drive the thing I'm driving, which goes back in a couple
You got
of days.
a press car. I don't blame you for leaving my shit.
No, to be honest with you,
honestly,
I'd rather drive your car.
It's a really nice road tripper. It cruises at 90 miles an hour completely effortlessly.
I might have to take you up on that.
It's fun, yeah.
It really is cool. And we drove it once. We took it somewhere, and we had it's a Lexus, so something broke, and we still had no problem driving it. It wouldn't cold start, but eventually it started, and it was still fine. You know, I mean, you drive it, you just can't believe it.
It's
really nice.
Pretty cool. It's in remarkably good condition for
That's fantastic.
For its age.
And how much mileage was on it when you got it? Like,
I got it with 897, and I'm the 5th owner.
Really?
So it's like, if it was one owner doing this, like okay, it's like you get those obsessed owners, that do the maintenance and then drive a lot of highway miles and they get there. But like, the fact that the 4th owner treated this car like fucking garbage, and it's still as tough as it is, and I pass it around to people, and I give them basically no instructions, and it's fine. Like, the toughness of the car is unbelievable. And I tell Lexus about it, and they couldn't give less of a fuck.
Yeah.
How could they not? This so has to go into their museum.
They don't care. I said, look, I've got this car with almost 1 million miles. They go, perfect. It's exactly what it's meant to do. I'm glad it's serving its need. Have a good day. Yeah, and they couldn't care less.
I'm sure there's some engineer in Japan who would love to hear the story that's never going to hear the story.
Yeah. If he knew it, he would probably give me a Grand Seiko. And I go, yes.
Yes, he would.
There's a Grand Seiko boutique opening in L.A.
Oh,
Wednesday.
Really?
I'm like, I'm like a junkie. Like, no, don't buy a snowflake, you asshole. I got invited. It was like, and the salesman there, I love the salesman at the Miami boutique. He's real slick. He goes, I'm going to get you into this party next Wednesday. Come on out. Look at this stuff. He goes, if you'd like something to wear to the party, I can, put something aside for you. Whoa! Hang on a second there, Joe.
Yeah, a bit presumptive.
Let me come to the party before I give you my credit card number.
Right.
No, it's the Seiko store in LA is going to be sick.
Yeah.
You just got a free promo. Seiko store coming to LA.
Send him a bill. It's valuable advertising worth at least $30.
It's worth at least $1 Grand Seiko.
Or a watch, yeah.
We got Facebook questions.
Yeah.
We had a bunch, actually.
Oh, good.
No, yeah. Oh, good. We have something to talk about.
You haven't driven the million miles? You got to drive the
No,
Lexus.
I'm Canadian.
I'm
Canadian.
Well, that explains.
I'm only here, 4 or 5 times a year, but...
Okay. A bunch of people have questions about 911T in various, where does it really fit in the lineup, et cetera, et cetera. And someone has a good one. Rather than the 911T, what if they brought back the 912 with the turbo motor out of the Cayman on Boxster S?
I think that would be cool.
That's a great idea.
I think it'd be kind of cool.
I think it's a great idea.
It's for China. If they do it, it's for China for sure.
No question.
Right?
No question. But a 912 would be awesome. And that motor is fantastic.
The Cayman, I don't like the base one, but the S motor is really good.
The S is really good, but the base wasn't too bad. But
it's not bad unless you drive it back to back with the S, and then you go, wow.
Oh, okay.
Because the S has not only more displacement, it's got the variable geometry turbo, which really fills in that torque at the bottom. It feels a lot faster.
Yeah.
I drove one. It was an S. It was a yellow Boxster. This is why I don't get many Porsche press cars. Bright yellow Boxster S, and I started and soon it's blah, 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 blah. And all I thought, all that popped in my mind was Carmen Ghia. And I just kept thinking of it that way the whole time.
It shows what the car you think of when you get in a 4-cylinder Porsche really shows your age. Like you think Carmen Ghia, I think STI.
It really?
I think,
No,
I think it
purely
sounds
because
like
it does, but motor in the back and going chugga 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 chugga. It's a Carmen Ghia.
I think it
maybe
sounds
a
like Porsche made an STI motor.
Yeah, 914 maybe. Yeah.
So a friend of ours, he just got the car back from his son. He's got a 914. He's the original owner.
Gangster.
How often do you run into a one-owner 914? Car's
Not
been
very
painted
often.
4 times.
Sure.
But the wheels it has, you know those the fancy bug wheels with the cross and the rectangular slots. If you look up Sunbug,
Sunbug. Chris
Yeah.
or Tim, nothing's happening when you're typing there. Sunbug.
it's those. I've never seen those on a 914.
one word?
No, not just Sunbug, not 914.
What do these? Oh, is that them down the mag?
Yeah,
wheels?
those wheels pop up any one of those pictures.
Top left.
Yeah, top left will do. It's that
Oh,
wheel.
that wheel.
It's
Oh,
that
on
wheel
a 914.
on a 914. I've never seen that.
Those are among the better Beetle wheels. I think the base 914 came with those wheels, right? With the 1.7.
I don't know what motor's in, but he said at the time he passed on the 6-cylinder because it was like $300 more.
And
he's like,
money well saved. So,
and
Oh,
he's stabbing himself for that one owner. By the way,
yeah.
that's what I think I want next. Not a Sunbug.
Beetle?
I want a Beetle. I
Wait,
drove
what?
one. I was
Is
on a
a
trip in
Sunbug
Germany.
A convertible? Is that why?
No,
you called it
Sunbug was gold and fancy. I just remember it had the big wheels. It was an expensive one. But that's not a Super Beetle. It was just some fancy trim when they were trying to blow them out in the 70s.
Beetles
I was in
fucking
a trip in Germany, and we drove...
Beetles are the worst.
I've never driven one and I have no interest.
It was listen, it's horrible, okay? Granted. So I had a conversation with Porter, by the way, because Porter told me he got a 911, and you know how much he hates Volkswagens? And he mentioned he got a 911. He said, I didn't expect the midlife crisis to come this soon. And I said, I really want a Volkswagen Beetle, and you can't say anything about it because you just bought one, which is
Right.
one of my favorite Top Gear jokes. But I drove a van at the Treffen, and then I drove this event they had. We drove it from Ventura, and then we were in this thing in Germany where we drove it's the closest you'll ever get to driving a brand new 1973 Beetle. It was just freshly restored by the Autostadt, just a Super Beetle with a small motor. It's so mechanical and so basic and so stupid, and I just loved it. It's getting back to the very, very basics. Like you drive the van. Have you driven a van?
Yeah.
So the shifter is like by the passenger's like right foot.
Yeah.
Like you got to reach way over here to change gears, and there's a reason for that because you don't shift it unless you absolutely need to. And there's just like a little 1, 2, and a 3 on the speedometer. I understand how all of my parents' generation can drive a stick shift, because
they're so easy.
They're so easy.
Floor
Yeah,
and
that's
dump
right.
the clutch.
yeah, exactly.
Yes.
You and then you only when there's a 1, a 2, and a 3, and when the speedometer goes past the digits, you shift gears. Like today, you can be in any one of 4 gears in a car. In a Volkswagen, you can't. If this is your speed, this is your gear.
The one I drove did not have that gauge in it. The 1, 2, 3 gauge. I didn't have that one.
I saw that in a Fiat 500 that I drove, and then it's Volkswagen's Beetle. It's Volkswagen's van. It's an orange and white van that they have restored, beautifully restored van. And on the speedometer, that's all you have.
None of them work in the actual customer vans.
There you go. It's a Roman numeral 1, 2, and 3.
Right.
And that's no tachometer. That's your gauge. It was
That's
that was
funny.
pretty cool.
Amazing.
Let's see. What else do we have?
You didn't answer his question. Where does the
was the
911T fit in the lineup? And the answer is in
We
the
talked
driveway
about-
of 1,000 well-heeled people.
We talked about.
You know what? I think it's going to be PCA members in here.
Yeah.
I mean, they're just nerds for that stuff. I mean, any.
I was with Spike this morning, and he was nerding out about the thin glass.
Oh, really?
Thin glass is great till you break one of them windows.
Exactly.
Till it rattles in the
We had a McLaren at the rental company and smashed a window, and it was $3,500
Sure.
for a window.
Yeah.
Here's a good one. I think we talked about 911T. We have to dwell on that. What car would you like to see that doesn't exist right now in the $35,000 to $45,000 range? That's a weird question, but I'm going to answer it with whatever a new MR2 would be.
Right.
Like something mid-engine that's
Yeah.
cheaper than a Boxster
Yep.
or a Cayman.
Yeah, that's kind of what's missing
Yeah.
from the market
you know
right
what
now.
I would take back? You mentioned the Corolla XRS.
Yeah.
that wouldn't have to be that expensive. That would be a $25,000 car. I'd like a good, fast, cheap, econo shitbox, not necessarily with a turbo. Not something as advanced as a WRX. Just those simple front-wheel drive car with a stiff suspension.
It's real hard to
and a
make
big
a
engine.
car like that without a turbo these days. I think
Yeah.
the fuel economy regulations pretty much mandate it, don't
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Well, I don't know. The mileage on those things wasn't that bad because the cars didn't weigh anything, you know?
they? Well, back then it was different. I think in real world economy, the numbers would probably be kind of the same for an NA motor or a turbo motor. But in the EPA testing, it's a big
be
difference.
it's significant.
Well, and the truth is, you know, when those cars were around, 140 horsepower out of a 1.6 or a 1.8 was a big deal.
It was solid,
and
yeah.
now it's not.
Yeah.
But that's what I would like. I would like a hot rod econo box. I would love to have that back.
So, you know, you've
lot.
got some options there. I just drove the Civic Si.
Yeah.
And
Did you like it?
You know what? So my darling bride has a previous gen Civic Si, and she loves the thing. So
Which
maybe
is the last NA motor one.
That's
Yeah,
right.
The 2.4.
Yeah. So in the real world, the car is awesome. The car is the new car is so much better, except at the absolute limit of grip, because you can actually position it. You can rotate it on the throttle. The old car, the new car, it just pushes at the limit.
Different tires?
And the tires are junk on the new Civic.
They got some eco shit on there.
No, they're a Goodyear summer tire, but they're horrible. Some cheap OEM spec Goodyear tire. They're junk. They're junk in the rain. They're junk in the dry.
Bummer.
And that's the video that went up on our channel today. And in the video,
Trashing the tires?
I trashed the tires. I normally
Good for
don't do
you.
that, but they were so bad I had to mention.
They're
it.
easy to fix.
Yeah, and that's what I said. Go to your favorite tire store, get some Michelins, and be happy.
And here we have, for the viewers at home, Brian's YouTube channel
My YouTube
with awesome graphics that
With
may or may
Civic
not
Si.
use Marvel's font.
Well,
I like it.
that's Russell. He stole it, and we give all the credit to him.
I don't want to. I'm not going to throw him under the bus. That's nice.
No, he'll like that.
Someone asked, and I want to know about the Micra Cup.
Oh, my favorite subject.
Micra Cup is Nissan Micra, tiny little car. Give us a
can't get.
Give us a Micra Cup.
Micro
photo.
Cup and throw my name in there, and you're going to get some fantastic images.
2 wheels in the air kind of thing.
No, off the ground,
Oh, air, full on air.
full on air. So my
you need
racing
those
season.
the shocks from the ZR2.
So the Nissan Micra, tiny little econo box.
It's made in Mexico, in Aguascalientes, Mexico, and they're in Canada. It's $9,988 to buy a base. So my race car is that $9,988 car with a roll cage and only comes
Make your
as
own cage. Or they sell you an already
we buy
caged
the
car?
cars from the promoter, from the race series itself. But it's these guys actually. As a matter of fact,
Motorsports in action.
Motorsports in
MIA.
action. Mia, the guys are awesome. I should be there.
What
How
kind
much
of
can you-
motors?
how
What
much
is it,
can you do to-
1.5
It's
or
a
something?
It's a 1.6, 109 horsepower, 100 pounds,
Oh, it's the
107
one
pounds
in
of torque.
that's the one in our Versa.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
What is that?
probably.
And what does this thing weigh?
23
Oh,
as a
that's
race
light.
car.
Yeah.
And we run the same tire as World Challenge B spec.
Okay.
So we got a lot of tire, but
What tire is it?
it's the Pirelli Slick.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's a
It's
proper
actual.
racing slick.
It's slicks. Full
yeah,
slick.
full slick.
How long are the races?
35 minutes or so.
It's not bad.
Yeah, except
A lot of fender rubbing.
a lot.
That's old.
So
that's old. They're old micros.
my race season this year, and the video went up a little while ago, lasted a lap and a half.
Oh,
What happened?
I got taken out, and I got taken out properly by this kid named Stefan Goche. So the video's up, but you can see from my rear view cam, guy in front of me starts braking. I start braking. He brakes and then just lifts off the brake pedal and nails me. But instead of hitting me square, he hits me on the left side. I turn, and we're going up a hill that happens to crest. It's a turn that crests the hill. I hit the earth, launch in the air, land driver's side down, and we're doing about 75 miles an hour. And I guess the wheels must have hit because I didn't roll. The car actually spun up 360 degrees, and I landed on my wheels.
Crazy.
Yeah, so I've got a neck injury. Thanks, Stefan. And I got a wrecked race car. Oh. Yeah, and so the deal.
Imagine you do not have insurance.
No,
for
there's
said
no. I mean,
race
I
car.
could have, but it didn't make. In this case, it may have made sense, but the problem. So a couple of things. I lost all that weight just so I can be competitive in Micro Cup. That's
Yeah.
there's
Well,
a
it makes
byproduct
big
of being
difference
healthier.
when the cars are 2,300 pounds.
Yeah, so I got down to driver minimum weight and qualified 6th in that race. I was qualifying in the teens last year because I was a lot heavier, and up to 4th on the first lap. And I start really well, and then this asshat takes me out.
It sucks.
And yeah,
Is
so
it just classified as like racing incident?
yeah, he got a little slap on the wrist and nothing major. Terry Dale, who's like the chief steward for Trans Am, SCCA Trans Am, is our chief steward. Day before, we get read the riot act, like contact will not be tolerated. We are not a contact series anymore. There's no excuse for it. And this happens. He gets a little slap on the wrist. What sucks is, yeah, I was competitive this season, so we were gonna run for decent finish in the championship, and there was an over 40 championship which I would qualify for, and chances are I would have won. But the next race weekend.
Is that yours?
No, that's one from last year.
I was going to say, that is not a good advertisement for the Nissan Micra.
That's a bad one. Someone had a rough
When the
day.
C-pillar tears. Sorry about that.
Yeah, so yeah, my with my roof, we bonded it instead of welding it back in, so it's all coming back together. But that was the first race.
Does your car look as rough as that car?
No, that was written off. But I learned something last year. They pulled the motor from that car and put it in the kid's next car.
Oh, good.
So there's something going on with that motor, even though they're sealed.
That's great.
Yeah, so there's some shenanigans going on in the series, but it's a lot of fun.
Wait. You mean you're trying to say that they kept that motor for a nefarious reason?
Oh yes. So the rules.
So why aren't you cheating?
Because I don't have the budget. I'm actually not cheating, and Mia, these guys build the cars, so they can't cheat.
Someone can.
Except clearly they did.
Except those guys may have. Well, they solved the problem. They put a new map on all the ECUs, so you can't make more than 109 horsepower. But there was a way, if you had the money.
What if you put a stroker crank in there?
What you can do is you can balance all the components. You could build it legally under the rules. You could balance a motor out, so you could get a whole pile of parts and. In a Nissan dealer, you could build a motor with stock parts and seal it, and you're legit. So these guys were making a few more.
So
horsepower.
if you just took the best part, you bought 5 of each thing and took the best one, you could build.
It's totally legal.
Pseudo hot rod motor.
Yeah.
You could get it up to 112 horsepower.
That's right.
Listen, that could make a difference.
Oh, I was getting at my home track is Mosport. I've been racing there for a Canadian Tire Motorsport Park. I've been racing there for 25 years, teaching there forever. I was getting pulled by this kid who just showed up the first time. I'm like, come on, this is nonsense. Like, the kid's pulling me.
Yeah. In a straight line.
Yeah, in a straight line. I'm like, this is not right.
Yeah.
See, to me, that is. I was going to say that's racing, but not the picture of the really badly wrecked car with the torn C-pillar. But that to me is racing.
There's
because that's all you. It's a fucking Micra.
Yeah.
That's all down to you.
I bet it's great fun.
You know what? It's obviously I had a shitty season this year, but it's super competitive. Most of the competitors are awesome. And
do they run a race shock and spring setup, or they literally stock cars with cages?
So we ran the Nismo S from the Japanese March suspension until earlier this year, of course. But now we've got a coilover setup that comes from some company in Quebec, because Quebec is the center of suspension development. That may have been sarcasm. That didn't come through.
So are you responsible for your own car, or is this like the Ferrari Challenge series where they bring all your cars?
No. The car lives with us.
Okay.
Yeah. So right now it's at the body shop. Alta Nissan's a big.
So 1 lap of a race.
A lap and a half.
Fucking hell.
Yeah. So the other.
Is it really worth fixing? I mean, you said this car was super, super cheap. How much body work can you?
Well, the dealer group in Toronto, it's called Alta. They've got 7 Nissan dealers. They're looking after it. They're swinging me a deal on this. But the reason I haven't been in a rush to get back is because the first race weekend is when I got taken out. So I was taken out of both races that weekend. The next race weekend was the weekend immediately after, and there was no way my car was going to be ready. So I got taken out of the championship by that asshat in one move.
Oh, because it wouldn't have been possible to fix it before the next race.
That's
at all.
right.
So if you're a DNF in 2, that's the end.
Yeah. Yeah, and it would have been 4 in total out of 12 races.
Honestly, I think you need a cheater engine.
If we
rods.
No, we're not going to do. No, you know what? I think it's still legal under the rules. We can have a Nissan dealer build it in house with all stock Nissan components. If we have the budget, we'll certainly do that.
If you were to blow a motor, what is it? What can you get a new one for? It's got to be cheap, right?
So
$595 for a rebuild.
Yeah, probably. There's tons of these things. Canada loves cheap small cars, so there's tons of them around that have been wrecked, and I'm sure you can find a motor for $10.
I thought you said it was a sealed thing. Does that just mean if you buy the car, it's for
Yeah,
wink, wink.
we would get it. You know, I would buy something cheap and make it happen. But the motors are tough. Like, you know what? It's a Mexican market car. It is so tough. I could probably run that thing with no oil, and we would run for 3 races. Like, it's a tough car.
Could you take your Micro Cup car and race it in like an AER or a Chump Car race or something?
Yep.
Too, you can, right?
Yeah, for sure. And it's massively
that could be a
efficient.
way to get a really reliable, easy, no headaches race car, right?
Yeah, with the Civic that we run in NASA, we've got a duty cycle for certain parts like hubs and bearings and that sort of thing. This thing, I haven't gone through any hubs until now.
Yeah, well, I
When
mean,
you ground
you
bolt
did
into
only,
them.
you did only
Yeah.
race it 1.5 laps.
Well, I had yeah, exactly. No, I mean, I was still on the bearing. I was still on everything from last year.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Oh, you
yeah.
did a season before in that
Yeah.
car. Okay, all
Yeah.
right. I thought this was this car's. Literally, this car did 1 lap.
That would have been awesome. That would have been the
would've been-
best story. No,
that
it's
would
just
have been
this
a
season was a
disaster.
lap and a
You know,
half.
we did this a few years back. We did this road trip in Mexico, and I requested a Nissan van, having driven the Japanese spec version, the mid-engine van, not realizing that the Mexican spec version is a little more basic,
Right.
with no anything. It had like power steering and God's own air conditioner, and that was it. Crank down windows, particle board interior panels. But so the car had like 10,000 kilometers when we got it. We did like another 2,000 kilometers, like 1,200 miles.
Yeah.
And you guys are driven to Mexico, right?
Yeah.
So you
No,
know,
I don't know if I'm interested in that. Is that a good idea?
It's
Driving in
brilliant.
Mexico?
It's
Yeah.
That's fine.
fan-fucking-tastic.
Okay. Yeah.
Nobody pays attention to the rules. You do whatever you want.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody pays attention to the speed limits. So to keep you slowing down, they build speed bumps the size of children. So
Oh, I
and I always
remember those.
Yes,
Yeah.
the topes. I always imagine some generalissima going, "You wish to speed, senor." Well, now you cannot speed. But I learned a real lesson about like localization. Like, so this car, we take it back. Nothing is squeaking. Nothing is rattling. And it's like, you know what? They built this thing to survive Mexico.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's fucking cool.
That's like those
You know?
Nissan Tsusurus.
The Surus, the old Sentras.
Yes,
They're
that's
still selling as taxis until like 3 months ago.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they just
yeah,
stopped. This the
yeah.
91 Sentra.
I was in one last year in Mexico. Piece of shit.
Yeah, I was
But
a couple years
piece
ago
of
as
shit
well.
that keeps on going.
The Micra is the same though. It's a Mexican market car. It is tough.
There's the Suru.
Yeah,
Suru.
yeah. I thought I was going to die in that thing. The
They are
driver was
brutal.
horrible.
I mean, you can't believe that's a brand new car.
Yep,
That shit. I was in one of those when it was new in like '94.
that's right.
Yep.
That's a brand new
That one,
car
that was
with
the first. That was the first little car to have a 16-valve engine, 110 horsepower.
Right.
That was hot shit when it came
SCR?
out.
Yeah.
No,
Sentra
just
SCR?
the regular
the
Sentra.
regular
Oh, it
one.
did?
Yeah.
SCR was, hold on to your hats,
SCR.
140.
The SCRs were dope.
Yeah.
They were
Yeah, those are
they handled
great.
really good.
Yeah.
I was a fan of them.
They were. I see now. See, like the version of your Cup car. That's the kind of car I would like. Something small motor, modest tires, but a modified suspension.
Mm-hmm.
Something where you can get up on those canyon roads and work the car, but not going at a speed where you're going to kill yourself.
You know what? It's. I mean,
Maybe
as,
none
as
of
of
Nissan so much.
Yeah, not that car, but there's something in there that's maybe 150 horsepower and light, and with a diff or something. The Micra is a road car. Yeah, it's fun, but it's dreadfully slow. It's
Yeah,
It
I mean,
is.
If you were
momentum.
racing it against anything that wasn't another Micra,
Exactly. You don't want to do that.
that's like
you don't want to do that.
I just saw that story today that Renault is going to be, or I don't even know if it's Renault, but this new Alpine that's coming out.
Yes.
They're going to have a spec Alpine series.
Of course they are.
Of course they are.
Yeah.
An Alpine will always win. An Alpine will win every race.
Yes.
You should only enter races that you can win.
That's one of the reasons why the Micro Cup has been successful. There's people
of Micro wins every
because of-
time.
a Nissan wins
Yeah,
every
Nissan,
time. So
that's the press release.
Yeah.
Nissan's placed first, second, and third in the Micro Cup.
all the way down to 25th. Now, but Nissan Global
I heard
loves the
Nissan
thing.
lost the race. No, we don't talk about that.
Yeah, exactly.
That's so funny.
Yeah.
Someone wants me to talk about. So I drove this thing called. I don't even really know how it's pronounced. I think it's a Crowworks. So Tim, type in KROWRX, and this is it. The third picture from the left there. Yeah, that's the one I drove.
Huh.
That's at Grid Life. So what that is?
What is that?
Yeah. So, listen. Normally I wouldn't. Okay, but these guys saw that I was there, and leave the picture up, Tim. They saw that I was there, and they asked me like several times to drive the car. What that is a 97 Integra motor and floor pan and firewall with everything else taken off and then just a cage put on it.
Huh. I would say I knew it was a Honda because the motor is 5 feet in front of the front wheels.
Yeah.
But you know what it looks like? It's like somebody tried to make a Porsche 911 and put the seats in backwards.
Yeah,
exactly.
So, matter of fact, if you reverse the whole thing, it might go better. So that is a front-wheel drive,
Thing.
non-VTEC. I think in the video I might have said it was VTEC, but it's not a VTEC.
Okay.
But it's a B
So,
motor, right? B series.
It's a B series motor. It's a B8, a B18, I think. And so I agreed to drive it. Now I'm at Road Atlanta.
Oh,
This
that's
is
nice.
This is an open track session. So I got 40 other cars on the track while I'm driving this.
Yeah.
I'm wearing a T-shirt and an open face helmet because that's what I had. I wasn't planning on driving this thing.
Sure.
And as you might notice, there is no windshield of any kind, and there is no
open-face
protection at all from the front tires in front of your face.
Of course.
I go out and everything hits me in the face. Other cars, stuff from other cars, bugs,
Rubber.
shit from my own fucking wheels.
Yeah.
And it weighs like 1,200 pounds, and it makes 125 horsepower, so it should be reasonably quick. But you know about race cars. Mm-hmm. Without body work, you hit an arrow wall at about 70 miles an hour,
Yeah.
and it will not continue accelerating.
That's the wing, right?
That's the wing.
Of course.
And
yeah. And yeah.
And here I
and
am
it
looking at
makes-
the motor to figure out
It
if it's
has
a
a
Honda. and I didn't look at the
ridiculous
wing,
amount of
yeah.
lift at the front end,
I'm sure.
and it's so light, and it does not have ABS. It's so light that when you hit the brakes, it locks and slides.
Of course.
And it doesn't have enough weight on the wheels to get heat in the tires and handle fucking properly.
Right. Oh, so it's just
everything
a-
about it is horrible.
Well, wait, but one thing, and you're a Honda owner, right?
Yeah.
You can change the EGR sensor. So that's kind of nice.
Oh, thank God. I mean, well, thank God.
Yeah.
And look,
I'm looking at going, the access to there is great.
and this was not the only car like this there was down there. There's Exocets and Adams and stuff.
Yeah.
Make people go, hang on a minute. What if I just take my S chassis Nissan or my Civic or my whatever
Yep.
and just take the body off it? That's the same thing.
It is exactly
and
the
it
same
is
thing.
Not the same thing.
Is that
Well,
black?
that's
so-
just-
It's
that black
the
car's
black
not-
one. No, the one I drove is not the only one. They're like I don't know what that is.
Is this a whole thing that
In-
clearly I've missed?
In the South, the body
say
removal
no more.
thing is a thing. So
Okay.
I
It's a
saw
540.
what is that?
This is a BMW
That's a
540.
BMW 540 without a fucking body on it. Is there a back seat? I can't see from here. If that's a 4-seater, it's pimp. Otherwise,
These things make
no.
sense if you put your own bodywork
or
on it.
or like if you were exclusively building some kind of autocross vehicle,
Right, yes.
you
Where you're
know,
not
and
going-
you run
you're not
slicks
going
and
over
tire blankets
60
or
miles an hour.
something, and you're wearing a Kevlar suit of some kind.
Yeah.
There's room for a backseat.
There is a room for a back seat. That's hilarious. But honestly, just everything about it was horrible. I mean, yeah, as a goof or something, all right, but certainly on a racetrack with. So someone asked me about in the video. It's basically just 10 minutes of me going, "This is sketchy. I hate it."
Right.
And when you have an 80-mile-an-hour wind in your face and you feel you're gonna die and you're gonna hang with, it's hard to articulate your thoughts.
Sure.
So maybe I wasn't as eloquent as I should have been.
So how does that go down when they, hey, Matt, come on down, drive our car,
Yeah.
and then you fucking hate the thing? How does that go down with the good old boys?
I haven't spoken to them since. I gave them back the car, and I went, "Well, that was interesting," and I walked away. And I told them I didn't want to drive it. Honestly, they were like, "Do you want to drive this?" And I was like, "No."
Right.
And then they were like, "Come on, drive it." And I was like, "Maybe if I could find some time." Come on, maybe. No, I really. All right, fine, I'll do it. And I don't know how the video went up this morning. How many views does it have? Let's see. I'll go look. It's gonna be. People have.
What's your
watched the video.
prediction?
Well, if you
Well, it's
hate
not,
it,
I
they're
mean,
gonna
look,
love
it's
it.
only been up for 12 hours.
Oh, okay,
So
all right.
it's got 30,000 views in 12 hours. But I mean, honestly, it's just, it was terrible. So I couldn't articulate why it was so terrible in the video.
Sure, but you're being,
It was
hit
really
with debris
it was
and
really
you got
bad.
yeah.
If
it
it's a
was really
Honda, why would you put Crow WRX? Wouldn't you put CRX?
Well, KR. So yeah, I don't know what
That's
it is,
so
but
weird.
It's
so weird.
It was a very
It
strange
seemed like
thing.
that's a hold
like
my beer and
that's
watch
a different
this.
one. I don't know what that one is. What is that?
That's
Civic?
a MX-5.
That's a Miata without a body?
Yeah.
Wow, okay.
At least they put a
not
windshield
the
on it.
Exocet,
If it had a
so.
windshield,
Not an
would it have been more
Exocet.
pleasant?
That's just a Miata with a body removed. But that looks interesting.
Would it be better with a windshield?
Well, yeah, because you get less shit in your face.
Yeah, but you still can't modulate the
car.
brakes. You still can't get heat into the
it's-
tires.
At a
so
certain point, you know how that people always said the Veyron was too fast, and then the GTR was too heavy, and then the Japanese engineers said we built one that had 300 pounds taken out of it, and it was slower. It's the same with the car like this. It's like, okay, a body weighs something, but a body also shapes the air around you.
Exactly.
A body helps keep you safe in a crash. My left arm was outside the crash structure of that vehicle.
nice.
If you
Your
can
left
call
arm-
it. If you can
Right.
call it
Oh no,
crash
it probably
structure.
was not designed as a crash structure.
I mean, there's a strut tower there that is just sawed around the edge of the strut tower. I mean, you got to. At a certain point, you have to go. Oh, Jesus!
They built something, but
They built something.
It's
They certainly
something
built
is right.
something.
They're from the South, and it wasn't a pickup truck, so give them credit for that.
I mean, look, when they were cruising around the paddock and the camping areas and shit, like as a fuck around vehicle, all right, yeah. As a paddock cruiser or like basically a parade float,
Sure.
fucking knock yourself out, bro.
Yep.
But I just wanted to impress because I drove it on the racetrack on an open track session. I want to make sure that people know you shouldn't do that.
there was a lemon.
That's good.
There was a Lemons team the year I drove that was a 7, I think, 5 or a 7 sedan, where they just kept taking every race. They take a different body panel off.
Oh,
of
that's
it.
great.
Yeah.
Strip lemons racing.
Yeah.
You lose
Yeah.
a hand. And you
Well, but then, so they
Thing
got
off
the
your
People's
car.
Curse Award, and instead of crushing the car, it was everybody come down with a wrench, preferably 9 or 11 millimeter, and
take
you got
something off
3
it.
minutes. Although we got 3-minute sessions, and when everybody was done, the car looked exactly the same. We took all the wiring out. We got the chassis off of its suspension. It didn't look like
Wow.
we'd done anything.
There
to
was
it.
There's a guy in Lemons who races like a mini moke, right? He's got like one of those moke things.
I don't
and
know,
it
but it would
basically
make
and he
sense.
put an exoskeleton around the moke,
Oh, that's
which
kind
I
of
think
neat.
did actually improve it because he
Probably.
left the moke. I think it didn't have doors or something.
They don't
I don't
have
know.
doors.
Some of this shit.
I know.
Give me a real car if I'm
So
going to track. You know?
I have one crap car racing. So I've got a couple, but one crap car story in particular, which ended my crap car racing career. I got taken out by a guy who'd shown up that day and bought a license. I'm sure I had a mild concussion. I've got a chipped tooth as a result. Now,
Really?
I'm not fixing the chipped tooth because it's a reminder never to go
Why
crap
don't you
car
get that
racing
tooth
again.
covered in gold like a gangster?
I'm not. Well, it's Canada. I'm not gangster.
And by the way,
You
can I
can't-
just say I'm really sorry about that, but
That's Was that in Lemons?
It was Trump car.
Was it really?
Yeah. So
How long ago was that?
This was 4 years ago. Yeah. So the first and only time I did Lemons was with our mutual friend Jack Baruth, and we won that.
yeah.
We won that fucking thing. We killed it.
In the
Supra.
in the Supra, right?
Yeah.
The
Yeah,
like
we
80s
just-
Supra, right?
83
Yeah.
Super Celica, whatever
Yeah.
they were. What a great race car that was.
Jack knows his cars. He just won AER Class 2 at Mid Ohio.
Mid-Ohio,
which is
yeah.
good for him. And I won in that car with him at NJMP.
Oh, right
in
on.
Maryland, in
Yeah.
Jack and Charlie's car.
Yeah.
and I'm going to be racing with them next year as well.
Oh, good
I
stuff.
prefer the AERs,
AER
although I will say Chump has gotten better. The quality of the driving this year that I saw at 24 Hours of VIR
Yep.
was, I mean, not perfect, but better than I saw 2 or 3 years ago for
Okay.
sure.
I
AER
like the AER idea.
AER is good. You could race your Micra in AER for sure.
Probably, but our Civic that we've got in Ohio has got a fuel cell in it, and
Oh,
it's caged
nice.
properly. It's
What generation Civic?
4th gen.
Which is what?
EF.
EF Civic. That's
Yeah.
the round hatch? Or
Square.
it's a coupe. Oh, it's
What
a
year is
square
the
hatch.
car?
Oh, yeah.
91.
okay,
Yeah.
just before the year before the round.
Yeah.
Those cars
they're-
drive really good.
It is
double
an
wishbone
awesome.
and all that,
That's
right?
right. Yeah, it's an awesome car. We won a lot of stuff with that car, but it would be right now. That would be perfect for
love a
AR.
good Civic.
And between my pal Sam, who runs the car, and me, we haven't had a chance to actually get together and do an AER race. We're dying to do it.
If you want to do one, and I'll buy a seat in the race.
All right,
Jack
then-
would be pissed. But if it's one of the races he's not running in,
Right,
I'm
exactly.
down. Or
right.
I could easily buy seats in 2 teams at an
Yeah,
AER race.
you totally
and
could.
It's not. I mean, at VIR 24, I did double the amount of driving that I did in an AER race, and I was okay. So
Yeah, and I mean the car's not physically demanding, especially with the tires you got to run.
Yeah.
Like it's easy. Like I was a fat motherfucker when I won all those championships.
Yeah.
Like it was so easy. I was not working.
The
out.
MX-5 is very easy too. It's got power steering on controls light.
Yeah,
The E30,
but it's
we did
tiny
at VIR.
though. I mean, I don't know. Like
No, we Bozy and Boyan are intrepid race
they're
techs. You know them.
masters. Yeah,
They removed the seat and actually banged out the driver's compartment, and we put a better seat in it. And now the seat is like on the floor, and there's leg room. This MX-5 has more leg room than any other car.
All right.
Any other MX-5 on the planet.
I raced the NCs and Playboy.
No, this is way because between me, Jack, and Charlie, all of us are like 6 feet tall.
That's
plus,
right. Yeah.
You know, it's important to, and Mental's tall too, and so it helps.
You know, I was
That's
on a Lemons team with Glucker.
Oh,
and we had we had to build an adjustable seat.
Well, I raced with Chris Harris at VIR, and he's like 5'8".
Yeah,
and I'm 6. Is he 5? He might not.
I think he's shorter than me.
He's short,
and I'm like 5'9".
Yeah, he's a little guy.
Yeah.
And that E30 was a workout. That thing it did not have power steering, so
that's good.
It was a workout.
That's a bit of a
it was
workout.
fun.
Yeah.
I like E30s. They make fun little race cars.
They're nice little cars.
Oh, by the way, that should be on the list for your Lexus. Is low speed, no power steering to the right, or at least very little, very little power steering.
Thing.
Just put that on the list.
One of I don't like talking power steering with that Lexus because one of the biggest issues with that model year Lexus is power steering pump goes, leaks power steering fluid onto the alternator, and then you lose your the whole system has to be replaced.
Oh, I thought
and I've already done it.
Catches on fire. Yeah,
I've already done it. It doesn't catch on fire. It just kills it. It is a pain in the dick. That and the starter motor. You can actually total an LS400 if the starter motor goes bad. Because it's way in the back and you have to pull the motor.
Right.
It's a nightmare.
I'm going to leave it running from now on.
like we're in Alaska.
Yeah, exactly.
All the time, 24 hours.
Yeah, never shut it off.
Fucking hell. If you could leave it running on a chassis dyno, that would be great. Too. Get the miles up there. All right, we can. I think that's a show. I'm pretty pleased with that show. You guys got something coming up you want to plug? Anything exciting?
I don't think I've got anything exciting. Just visit my YouTube
Brian
channel.
Makse on YouTube. That's Makse. I will put a link in the description of the video and the audio for you.
Yeah, thanks for
having me. Aaron Gold.
Nothing. Actually, you know what I could plug? So I've been doing a little bit of work for Automobile Magazine.
Oh, yeah.
So everybody could search automobile.com for my name and click on the articles a bunch of times. Everybody will think I'm a really good writer, so that would be excellent.
I will do that. I like the newly reformatted Automobile Magazine.
I was actually in my first ever real live print feature story. Oh crap! We should have talked about that.
How does it feel to be on paper?
That part was pretty cool. Well, I've done it with Diesel World, so yay. But I drove.
Nothing more
we'll talk about the
official
next
than Diesel World, bro.
That's right.
Let me tell you. So
they're serious in Diesel World.
I'm telling you.
Is there a semi truck enthusiast magazine for specific?
Seen one.
I would imagine there has to be. You know what I think there is? I think with the old truck society, there's like the National Historical Truck Society. I bet NHTS has a magazine like that.
I love a good custom semi, man. When you see some of these semis, they're just pimping.
Well, you
want to see huge sleeper cab in the back that you could have like a fucking Roman orgy in.
Search YouTube for somebody driving like an old twin stick.
What's a twin
somebody
stick?
Gets like a 59 Mac. It's a transmission. It's got 2 shift levers. One's 4 speeds and one's 3 speeds.
Oh my God! What a
so
disaster.
when you have to double clutch, so when you get to a certain gear, you have to shift 2 levers. So you watch the guys hook their arm around the steering wheel. Actually, I think you hit it with your elbow because it'll break your arm because it's no power steering. And they gotta like.
Is this for real?
I swear, yeah. Search
59 Mac.
I don't know. I don't know. A bunch of trucks had them. Search for twin
That
stick.
hurts my brain.
Everything about that.
I was looking because I was researching.
So I
had an old bus, and I was going to I wanted to put a 10-speed Road Ranger in it. I had a 5-speed, which is the 10-speed is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Pull the lever up 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Same.
You
pattern.
go from 5. Pull up a lever and
Pull
go
up
back
the lever
to 1.
and go back to first, and that's your 6th.
And that's 6th.
If you don't skip every other gear, which I'm told is a good idea, unless you want to change gears 4 times before you make it to the intersection. Yeah. And you're double clutching if it's cold.
On the way up.
You're double clutching on the way up. So anyway, but I saw videos of the twin sticks. It's nuts. I so want to drive one.
I'm not interested. Nope. I do want to drive a semi-truck, but I think they have push-button automatic gearboxes now.
I drove one on a ZF event. I drove a semi-truck. It was a European one.
You said ZF? You did,
automatic.
didn't you?
Oh, fuck.
You said ZF.
Nice work. That just sounds natural to me.
Traitor.
You know why? Because they flew me to this.
Are you secretly English?
No, they flew
Hey,
me
it's
to
a
the
Canadian thing
event,
too.
And
Oh,
I
you say
yeah,
Zed.
the
Do you know how
Canadian
much shit I take on YouTube for saying Zed at the inappropriate time? Like,
Really?
yeah. So our Z06.
That's because you're DL Canadian.
Yeah.
You could
yeah.
pass like you're a Canadian brain in an American body.
That's exactly it. That's exactly it. So
American teeth. and
our
a Spanish
our
mouth.
Z06 video.
Yeah.
Like it's old news now, but every new comment is go fuck yourself saying Zed. What are you? What's wrong with you?
I hang out with British guys from time to time, and I picked up a few things. It's like you hang your influences. You
That's
just
right.
pick stuff up.
Yep.
It's funny. I used to start by making fun of Chris Harris by doing his mannerisms, and now I start saying the same shit too.
Oh no.
I find myself saying chassis.
Right.
I say
Chassis.
brilliant a lot. But that's
Brilliant is good.
Yeah.
What are you gonna do? But I pick up stuff from him it's okay. You're allowed to have Zed. We don't.
I only
Real
No, it
people-
doesn't. It doesn't.
Real
work.
people don't give a fuck.
I say
That's
Z
true.
normally.
That's
It's
true.
a 370Z.
Yeah.
I only
Yeah.
say it because I went on their event and I didn't want to be rude, and then I couldn't get out of the habit. But yeah,
You're allowed to say Zed.
Yeah, that's all right. It works.
We'll give-
But
we'll
when
forgive.
I cross the border, it's like, oh, I got to lose the Z. There's a couple of things I got to do.
You don't need to change.
do you
for
go to
us.
Canada and
It's
say
okay.
Z so you'll sound more American? Or
No,
at least
I
did
don't
you
do
before
that.
Trump was
I get-
elected.
Well, you guys, you could probably pick up a little bit of a Canadian accent on me, right?
I can hear some Canada.
But
in there.
at home, I always get, "Are you American?" I'm like,
Oh, really?
Hell
You
no.
don't fit anywhere? Poor guy.
"Yeah, I don't fit anywhere.
You're
I'm
an
like right on the
international-
border."
You're an
You're
international.
too
lad
white
of
to be
mystery.
black and too black to be white.
That's exactly it.
Just like,
Me.
who did I blank on? Who was I thinking of? Oh, Bob Marley. Bob Marley.
Bob Marley.
Half white.
I didn't know that.
Bob Marley's father was a Aryan-ass German. Like, the white, would have been right at home in the Third Reich.
I had no idea.
Yeah. Bob Marley's dad was the whitest dude you have ever seen, and went to Jamaica. Don't remember what for, but knocked up Bob Marley's mom,
Yep.
and then dipped the fuck out. But Bob was a half white guy, and that him not fitting in as not black enough or
Yep.
not white enough,
Right.
is what led to him becoming Bob Marley.
Next
It's a
week
great
on
documentary.
Things
That's
you don't
whatever-
expect to learn on the podcast.
Tim, you see it? What's the documentary? The Bob Marley documentary. It's like on Netflix. I think it might just be
Called
called
Marley.
Marley.
I think
Just
it
called
is
Marley.
Marley, yeah.
It's
Yeah.
very good.
I'll have to watch
it's
that.
really Are you a Bob Marley fan?
Yeah, of course.
Super weird because I was born in '81, which was the year he died. So
Yes.
I never got any glimpse of Bob Marley's life. I just got the legend record and weed smoking and shit.
Of course.
So to people like me, Bob Marley is not actually like a human. Like he's like the same way John Lennon is to some people, basically like a god, not human.
Yes.
And so to watch this documentary and hear Bob Marley's fucking agent being like, Bob could really negotiate a record deal. And it was like, no, Bob Marley does not negotiate record deals.
that's
Bob
right.
Marley smokes ganja and preaches peace and plays his guitar. And it's like, hearing about these things that from people who's like, yeah, me and Bob went down to the store. It's like, what?
Right.
Bob only did glorious things.
Yeah, exactly.
He
Exactly.
didn't go go to the store.
Yeah.
He wasn't in the produce aisle trying to find the
no.
firm head of
Yeah.
lettuce.
No.
Yeah.
He was singing to Jah.
Yeah, he was writing music
Yeah.
in his studio.
He only
doing
did
awesome
God things.
Yeah.
He never did normal things.
I feel old because I remember when John Lennon got shot. I was a kid, but you
Yeah.
weren't even born
You
yet.
look kind of like Mark David Chapman now that I think about it.
Actually,
If I
yeah.
shaved your head and put ugly square glasses on you.
That's it. And I was absent from school that day, and nobody knows.
Nobody
Right.
noticed.
They found a Metro North train ticket in my pocket.
And a copy of Catcher in the Rye. All right. Thanks for coming in, guys. This was
Hey.
fun.
Thank you so much for having me.
Nice to
Thanks for
little
having me.
Friday afternoon show. The Smoking Tire Podcast is, as always, powered by Shout Engine. Get your own damn podcast at shoutengine.com. All you need is something to speak into and a way to connect those words to the internet. It's very easy. And that's all. Aaron Gold, plug your social media real quick.
I don't do it. I don't do much on social media,
Perfect.
so it doesn't
Brian,
matter.
I'm all about social media.
You're Brian Makse on everything.
Everything is Brian Makse, Makse.
Brilliant. Way to represent Canada today, sir. Thank you for coming
Canadian.
down. Enjoy your ZL1. Bye, guys.